Hello, you lovely people. Welcome to another episode of Tenuous at Best with myself, Vando K, the man from Northeast YouTube, the wizard that is Zane, and the mystical witness protection fella, which would be the D. We're here for another week of nonsense of video game chat, tech, news, and so on and so forth. Introducing the Zane. How are we, sir?
Shite. Absolute shite. We're called for a week, it's not gone anywhere, and it's all shite. I'm not too bad, son. How are you?
Yeah, I'm grand, sir. I've also got the said Lurgy as well. I think we'll actually stop using this as a method of communicating via like Skype and stuff, and actually just use it as a method of quarantine for future reference, because we all seem to be getting each other's kind of weird Lurgy situations. You come out of the house one time and everybody gets sick.
I was going to say, I mean, that's what you get for coming out of your house and actually socialising in person.
Yeah, never again.
No benefit.
Nah, you're right.
To be fair, I had the Lurgy before I actually left the house. It was couriered into me, so.
Nasty business, this whole thing. D, how are you, sir? Have you managed to avoid and limbo dance your way past this son of a bitch?
Yes, as I was referring to earlier on, I feel like Mr. Bruce Willis in the film Unbreakable. I've not had a cold this year. I've staved off every single attack, so fuck you all.
I remember last time you did mega flu, I think I brought you chicken soup.
You know what? I think you did, you lovely little peach of a man.
You know, just that next time after you said "fuck you guys," you're getting a flaming bag of shit at the door. The only benefit being you won't be able to smell it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you looking for some chicken soup?
Baby. Yeah, so welcome back, guys. Zane, I'm very proud of you for actually joining us, because I'm aware of how super lurged you've been. You're a pretty nasty one.
So you're getting from me all night.
Nice. All right, so who wants to kick off? Shall we kick off with a wee bit of what you've been playing?
Is that not going to be the same answer for everybody?
Here and there, different. What have you been playing, D? Mostly Division in it again?
So yeah, kind of certainly in the house, Division, maybe an hour of Horizon, and then I've been indulging in your bits.
My bits?
Your bits.
You've been playing with my bits? That explain the tingling sensation?
I have. I've had it all about my head and everything.
Nice. I think, just to clarify, to give that some level of context, he's referring to
Oh,
VR. Is this time, after your first occasion to VR, we were sure you were going to just reject the whole idea. Kind of like if you ever heard a song for the first time when you need a massive hangover, you never want to hear the song again. Kind of programs you. In this situation, it's more a case of he's not going to do VR again after that first debacle. But this time you were bossing it and doing barrel rolls and all kinds of crazy shit on Mount Wingsuit.
So that's twice I've done VR and twice I've done barrel rolls. I am the barrel roll master.
That is very, very, very true. It was the fact that Zane did one and we were like, you're a nutbag, and you went, do you know what, I need to do two.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just this intense competition that just comes into you. It's like you've spent, how long is that now? Maybe a couple of months building up a tolerance to this whole thing and actually getting used to it. And even now and then, my stomach still goes every now and then. It's like, yeah, I'll do a barrel roll. Let's do it. You need to go in there and just go in for two in a row. I'm sure you must have shut your eyes. Surely you shut your eyes in that thing.
Oh, that's a good point.
No.
He would never cheat himself out of the glory. He wants it to be a genuine win.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Actually, no, but I'm fairly sure he had his eyes open, because we were doing it standing up. Like, I'm pretty sure if he'd shut his eyes, get 3/4 of the way through that, opened his eyes to see where the hell he was, he would have just hit the floor. So.
That's true. If anybody's not played Mount Wingsuit in VR, give it a spin. Do not be put off by the fact the graphics are crap. They are pretty crap, but it does not block the immersion any, that's for sure. Mental. Zane, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Oh. Yeah.
Welcome back.
This cold is just going to be the fucking death of me, I'll tell you. So, thanks to this cold, however, because I've not been able to do anything for the channel for the past week, I have been playing games like a fucking boss. I've been going over everything, but just wee short spurts. I have taken a look at Final Fantasy 15, Dishonored 2, No Man's Sky.
Sorry, what?
Wheezy there. Kind of flu
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah, where should we start?
I'm curious as to if Final Fantasy 15's any good. It looks
Yeah,
awesome.
don't get it.
Is it shit?
No, I don't mean don't get the game. Game's awesome. I don't get it. I'm maybe just not enough. I'm maybe not just far enough into it so far, but I'm very confused by the whole thing. It's just so it's like I don't know. It's like a boy band on tour that isn't actually going anywhere. They just seem to be driving about in this big fuck off convertible Bentley type
One
thing,
Direction simulator.
and then occasionally killing monsters. I've not really get what the point of the whole thing is just yet. It's they occasionally stop to farm and cook up some weird shit at a campfire and then go on about this pointless trip.
When you
Please
say
tell
like
me
cook up
it's
stuff, are we talking like Yahi or some kind of native Indian kind of crazy dude?
I mean, it might as well be. It's I have no idea what the hell's going on in this game. It's just absolutely insane. Apparently, one of the four in the boy bands is a prince, and they kind of get sent out
A
in
Prince or
this
the Prince?
a prince of
Oh,
somewhere. So he goes out to go on this bizarre road trip with his four mates, and while he's out there, his country gets invaded, and his father, the king's been killed, and so's his fiance, apparently. And yeah, I can't go home anymore, so we're just continuing on the boy band road trip.
As you do. Shit's gone
Because-
wrong. Let's keep driving.
Aye, pretty much.
Didn't get any more of that crack.
So it's yeah. It's an absolutely gorgeous looking game, and I'm sure there's more to it once I actually get into it. But just now, I just seem to be leveling up cooking and fishing while my country is invaded, and one of my mates is leveling up his photography skill. I'm not even sure how that comes into it just yet.
Dead Rising.
Aye, it might as well be. It's a very bizarre. It's a very Japanese game show.
So this is exactly the thing. Remember I said to you before, like why I chose Xbox over PS4, and it's because of this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this kind of Japanese kind of J culture kind of titles that I look at and go, I have no fucking clue what's going on there. I've got Metal Gear Ground Zeroes, and I sat and watched it and went, I don't know what the fuck you're going on about. And I don't like to think I'm a fairly erudite guy. I'm not like a complete idiot, but I'm sitting there going, why is this? And why is that woman wearing some kind of stealth bikini? I'm not against it, but I'm just looking at it going, this makes no fucking sense.
Can I get clarification on what stealth bikini is, please?
Look up Quiet MGS.
Quiet MGS.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
So, to be fair to the Final Fantasy series, it's
Hello.
the stories. Yeah, the stories are a lot more straightforward than the likes of Metal Gear. They're not quite as far out there. But
Yeah.
what they do tend to do a hell of a lot is they'll throw in a lot of other just bizarre things. Like, so in order to get your kind of bonus stats in this game, you'll get a health bonus and an armor bonus and an attack bonus from anytime you stop at a campfire. One of your four of the boy band basically makes a meal, and it's based on like things that you've killed and fucking potatoes and peppers that you've picked up randomly on your journey, like just picking them out the ground. And that's where it just goes a bit weird. Is you're like I say, literally you've got your four guys where you've got this fishing skill, and it's got this whole kind of fishing side game within it, which again you use for the food, which gives you your bonus stats and stuff. But one of the four is just skills, photography. And every time you go at the campfire at the end of the day, it shows you like 10 photos that this dude's taken, and he's got an experience bar, and apparently he takes better photographs the more experienced. And it's like, why? Why is this? I don't understand it. It's like, are we going to get to some boss at some point that he's going to have to take down with his camera? I don't understand. But apart from that, it's fun as hell. The main change with it is the fact that it's now all real time fighting. Before, Final Fantasy was always step by step. Turn-based, that's the word I'm looking for. God damn, that's cold.
Your brains just turned to soup.
Aye, so it's all kind of it was all kind of turn-based, kind of use an item, cast a spell,
Yeah.
Do an attack kind of thing. Whereas now it's all real time, and it's a bit weird. I've not really kind of got the hang of it yet because, well, you've got an attack button which essentially just means hold down circle, and he absolutely lumps the hell out of things. But you need to dodge. You hold down square, and it kind of auto dodges.
Mhm.
But you don't really get a great way of, especially if you've got 4 of your mates that are on the one thing, or the 4Es are on the one thing, and you can't really see what's going on the screen, so the beast, whatever you're trying to take down, tries to attack. It could well be flagging the fact that it's like coming in with a big right punch, but you can't really see it when your 4 mates are just scrabbling over the top of it. So it's not really telegraphed like when to actually dodge out the way of these things very well.
Yeah.
So I tend to find myself just kind of getting the hell out of fights, let the 3 of them get in, and kind of run around the back and just poke things up the arse. That seems to work quite well.
That sounds a lot like our drinking strategy as well.
Pretty much. I mean, it could be based on one of our nights out, to be fair.
What that actually means, I don't know, but I think Dee's keeping the fuck out of it. He's like, I'm going nowhere and putting anything up Penton's ass.
Well,
You're gonna post that picture of Quiet again? Can't take you nowhere. Cool. Well, that doesn't sound like it's something that's going to appeal to me. Although I do find appeal in the kind of live action aspect as opposed to the turn-based kind of. That word's left me as well. Turn-based, yeah. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Because I always remember my brother playing it on, I think, a PS1, probably, maybe Final Fantasy 7, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I mean, he played that for hours and hours. And I was a kid that kind of, I never played a lot of games. I didn't really bother with games too much. I used to actually try to learn to code and things like this because I was that kid. But I always had computers. My brother had computers and consoles, but his machines were always for gaming on. And I would just sit with him for hours, just watching playing games. But I always watched that, and I really liked the environments and thought it looked really cool. But I just the kind of the combat system didn't entertain me. So this seems a little bit more kind of like live action. I can get behind that, as I say, after The Witcher. I can get behind RPG combat, but I don't know. I think it's maybe, I know they're all standalone stories as well, but I think it's just one of those things that culturally I look at it and go, I can't tune into this at all. So I'm very much the archetypal Western gamer, I think is what it is.
It's an interesting move for them. Like I think Final Fantasy's been kind of on the wane for quite a for quite a wee while now. It seems to have been kind of dipping in popularity, although it's not exactly been flagging sales wise. It still does okay, but I think they had to at some point. They had to change it up, and this seems to be the time they went for it. Interesting to see what they do with the remake of Final Fantasy VII. I've got a feeling it's going to be like this. I think they're moving away from the whole turn-based thing completely. So it's like, even though they're remaking Final Fantasy VII, I don't think it's going to be a strict remake. I think you're going to see something similar to this, just using the same characters and a somewhat similar storyline. They've already said they're going to be changing some of the story for that. So I'm interested to see how folk actually react to that when it appears. Yeah, because I think it's going to be a completely different game for what people are expecting. Yeah, folks shouted for years and years that they wanted them to remake Final Fantasy VII, and I think once they do, it's going to be careful what you wish for, because they're not going to actually get like just a straight remake with prettier graphics, which I think is what actually folk wanted in the first place.
The funny thing about it is that people like go screaming about this kind of stuff. It's like the guys in I'm on like a lot of the kind of gaming subreddits, and the one I always saw was all the guys, because of backwards compatibility, everybody's kicking up, I want Skate 3, I want Skate 3. They announced Skate 3, nobody says anything.
Yeah.
A couple of people do go, it's not as good as I remember it. You go, that's nostalgia, fool. It's the nature of these things. If you really want Final Fantasy VII and you want it the way it was, for the price of a re-release game at £50, you could buy a PS1 and a copy of Final Fantasy VII and probably a crap TV off eBay. Do you know what I mean? And play the whole fucking thing, if you insist, for £50, £60. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's on the PlayStation Store at the moment. Like, the original version is on PlayStation Store just now. You don't even need all of that. You can go and buy it again just now and play it on your PS4
really?
If you want. Aye.
And it's not like streamed?
No. The actual store's got it on got a copy. So yeah, not the PlayStation Now or whatever it's called. Yeah. No, you can actually buy it for however many pennies it is at the moment.
Look how sad this is. Look, sadness in a glass. Nothing in the glass. I'll sort it in a minute. I've been playing VR crap because I bought myself an Oculus Rift last week. And yesterday, I want to say yesterday. Yes, I think. I don't know. Maybe yesterday. I can't remember. My week's turning out a blur. I got the touch controllers for it, which are freaking awesome. I think, to me, it's freaking awesome, but I think if you have a Vive or a PSVR with the Move controllers, it's really just bringing up parity, to be honest. It's just kind of bringing the Oculus into line with the rest of the lineup. But they are phenomenal little things. They're just lovely wee things. Look at it. Look at his wee face. And it lights up lovely in the camera, which is kind of cool, with the wee lights, which is odd. It doesn't actually, they aren't actually blue. It's IR sensors, so you can't see them with the naked eye. But they're amazing little things, and they're really kind of comfortable because obviously, as you hold them, you've got this kind of little grip, and it just sits there. And when you've got them on, you completely forget it's there. And the tactility is amazing. You can actually point with it and all this kind of thing. So it's very, very cool. So I've been playing been doing a good bit of VR farting about. I'm a big fan of the experiences stuff, so I've been doing all the random sit here while some sharks go by you, or sit here while some whales go by you, or sit here in space for no apparent reason. But I've been playing Adrift, been playing that a good bit now, giving that a good run.
Sit there whilst life goes by you.
Yeah, man, it's amazing though. It's the most beautiful things you can see. It's just fantastic, and I've really been enjoying that. I was playing a bit of Adrift, as I say, the vomit simulator. That's really cool. But last night I actually ended up in a 2-hour horde battle, me and some stranger against a bunch of dead cowboy creatures, a game called Dead and Buried. And it's literally a 2-gun shooter. And you just get hordes of zombie cowboy guys, kind of animated zombie cowboy guys coming at you, and you just got to shoot them, and it's phenomenal fun, ridiculously good fun. Like, it's funny because you go, oh, these are it's quite goofy, and you go, that's quite childish. But when you get something like a zombie cowboy thing coming at you, and it's 7 foot tall, you're still jarring. You're going, fuck. So really, really good fun. And just playing this random dude with like high fiving and shit, just like a couple of decks. Played a bit of the rec room stuff with like paintball and all that. And the other cool thing about that is that I don't know if it's maybe just the ridiculously high price point on VR that filters out the wee guys screaming they're going to have sex with your mum. But everybody I've met, even the guys that have leathered me, have been, dude, great game. You're like, nice one, catch you later on. And they add you as a friend, and you go, dude, do you want to play this? And you go, yeah, why not? And you get actual just people having a good time. It's really weird. It's lovely. So, I've been playing a bunch of games like that.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty sweet. And I'm playing a game called Bullet Train, which is the tech demo for, it's only like 5 minutes long, but it's a tech demo for Robo Recall that's coming in January. And it's phenomenal. It's just you're getting attacked by big ass soldiers, and you can slow motion time and throw bullets back at them, and you can you've got two-handed guns and all that stuff. Phenomenal fun, really, really cool. Oh, I had a blink there.
Yes, was
that rabbit?
I'm hitting all the wrong buttons tonight. No, I was trying to find some Dead and Buried because it sounded intriguing.
It's really cool. Yeah, that's it. So to reload your gun, you've got your 2 controllers in your hands, and you have to do this, kind of shift them down to drop the shells out, and then you do that to reload. And it's incredible amounts of fun. I was playing mostly Horde, but you can do kind of target practice on your own and stuff like that as well.
Right.
But yeah, it's just stupidly good, really good laugh as well. And as I say, everybody I've played with has been awesome fun as well. But yeah, the touch controllers are phenomenal. I'm actually getting a lot better at it by shooting from the hip. Yeah, because I'm actually putting my guns away and throwing them back, and so it's just it looks. It's actually one of the few kind of VR demos I've seen play on the kind of like on YouTube, and you can watch that you're not wearing the headset. It gives you a good sensation of what it's like because you've got the hand controllers. Makes it look a little bit more integrated, but it's you see the high fives and stuff. It's so good.
Do we think there's a kind of reason for why for when you're using the controllers that there's no kind of arms attached to it? Because is that not going to take you out a little bit? Would it not be a little bit more realistic to have the arms attached to the hands?
I think if you actually saw how that actually works, you'd end up with an arm up in your face and stuff is the way it would go, because you're actually moving your hands fairly freely, and you're kind of cross your arms this way. Whereas I think there's no real way to track the elbow, so it would look a bit weird. I think is why they do it.
Okay.
I think if you'd like a controller where you could actually kind of have a wee strap that came down your elbow, maybe it'd probably be a bit more accurate. But I think it's literally just that we're just tracking up here. So anything too far down would maybe break the immersion as opposed to support it. Your brain kind of fills in the rest, I think.
Okay.
I think that's it. It's just into arm length. Everybody's got different arm lengths, so when you start trying to simulate that, you're going to have all sorts of problems if you've got someone with obnoxiously long arms.
I like how somebody's arm can be obnoxiously long.
It's just gonna, yeah, it's just gonna stretch out to the point where you're ripping out the virtual socket and
Ripping out the virtual socket sounds like a wanking term for the 21st century.
Yeah, I think it's probably just too difficult to try and do the whole thing. It's just easier just to go, it's a pair of hands, deal with it.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that. The Oculus Touches are like an absolute. If you've got an Oculus, it's an absolute must. Just to kind of, it just gives that extra layer of integration. But yeah, tons and tons of fun to be had with that. Yeah, so highly recommended from myself. But this week again, I've got a butt ton because you buy the Touches. They send you a massive bundle. So I think I priced up the bundle of games they give you with it. And it's like 180 quid on the store altogether for all the games they give you when you buy the Touches, and the Touches are 190. So you're basically getting your controllers for a tenner if you take it that way, kind of thing. Obviously, that's not how the markup works, but in terms of kind of personal value, that's pretty sweet. So really good stock. Yeah, so that's about the size of my shenanigans this week, and that's the shortest Oculus Touch review you could get. But they do exactly what they're supposed to do, and they feel like they're light and they're pretty much perfect. Yeah.
I've got to say, the machine itself, the Oculus, is absolutely awesome. So, in similar fashion to how when I got the PSVR, we had these guys come up and check it out as soon as Kay got hold of the Rift. We all descended upon him for shots, and I will say it's like there is no buyer's remorse whatsoever in getting the PSVR. It is an absolutely phenomenal piece of kit, and just as fact is just sheer
accessibility.
Yeah, I mean for the price, it's absolutely.
Oh, I think the two prices are exactly
awesome.
comparable. I think they're completely exactly the same thing. I don't think there's. I couldn't. I mean, you can because you spend more time with the PSVR. But from the last time I played the PSVR to putting on the Oculus, I think it's very much a muchness.
Yeah, no, I would say not even close. It's the resolution is so much clearer within the Oculus. I mean, that's pretty much all. Like, I don't have the Move controllers yet, so I don't know how. I don't know how they can
well
work
that
out.
tracks. Yeah,
I don't know how well they track so far, but I mean, certainly the PlayStation headset tracks just as well as the Oculus one does, and what it actually does and how to immerse you is just as good. Absolutely. That resolution switch from basically in the Oculus, you've got a 1080p lens for each eye, a 1080p screen for each eye. With the PSVR, you've got one 1080p screen for covering both eyes. It's basically half in two. So, I mean, not quite 720p per eye, but it might as well be. And you do notice the difference. It is a lot clearer. It's also costing you a shitload more. So that's just the way it goes. But yeah, it's a big change just as far as the clarity of what you're seeing. It's an absolutely beautiful machine. I need to get hold of a Vive now, just check that.
Well, I think that's it. Your mission is to go and buy a Vive now. You've got a good sized room in there as well.
Mate, I'm trumping the pair of you. I've got one of the phone goggle things I've still to try out that I got for my birthday.
Hold on, you've got two of them.
In fact, so I'm going to have one in each eye, so I'm going to have 4 screens, two screens.
4K bitches.
Double the resolution, double the headgear. I'll look cool as fuck.
But no, there you go. You need to buy the Vive just for science.
Apparently, what I didn't know is you can actually do room scale VR with the Oculus.
Yes.
They
refuse to name it room scale, and people say it doesn't do it because officially they can't call it room scale because that's a HTC Vive trademark. But it does work. I've got my sensors up either side of me here just now, And I'm just using it because I'm not really doing a lot of room scale. My room's not giant, so I'm not worried about it. But when I first got it, I stuck the other camera, basically stick one camera to one corner, one to the other corner, and it just works. It really does. In actual fact, with the two cameras facing me here, I've had no tracking issues. Even with occlusion, me getting in front of the hands, it's very, very slight. I mean, it's not often I'm going to be doing over here, and if my arms are out the way, so it doesn't really bother too much. I've got another camera coming, so I can stick that at the back of the room, and it will be kind of full scale. But they will never.
Yeah, I was going to say it needs to be for the kind of proper room scale that they can't call room scale TM. You kind of need a third camera, which it was it £70 a go or something for the camera.
70 quid a camera, which isn't the cheapest thing in the world. The good thing is I got one with the Rift, and I got another one when you bought the touch controllers. So, so the extra one's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's only really bringing you up to the price of the Vive.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and apparently resolution-wise, as far as the two headsets go, they're about the same. So I don't really see any other differences between the two, other than which controller you prefer at that point. Like if you're going to go all that way.
The biggest
what I've seen so far, the controllers you've got there seem to win out.
I think they do. I mean, they're just really. I mean, they're a weird one because with the Vive, each controller is anything you want, but in this, you need what is a left one, there's a right one. You can't just pick them up. But when they're sitting on your desk, they don't show up as controllers like they do with the Vive. They show up as hands. You can swap that, but having them as hands means you pick up, you know which hand you're meant to be in. So when you pick them up and you're like, oh, that's not right. But as you can see, they're kind of really well balanced. And the thing that's nice about it, everything's haptic as well as everything's kind of proximity sensor. So see if I'm just touching the top here, but not actually pressing it, it detects in the game or detects in the engine that my thumb's on it. So I can actually thumbs up in the game, or I can point, or I can open and close my whole kind of hand. So it's pretty. They're really good. I think the other beef though, the difference between the Oculus and Vive, in terms of the Vive being a pain in the arse, the Oculus being a pain in the arse, is the fact that the Oculus, every camera needs a USB socket, which is a USB 3 socket at that, whereas the Vive, everything is just power lighthouses and just power. So that's a lot smarter. So they've got their pros and cons, but I think after a fashion, the Vive and the Oculus are pretty much the same deal. You can I can go on Steam and play anything I want on my Oculus, and the guys with Vives can use Revive to play Oculus stuff, so it's much a much. Aye. The fact there's disparity in those kind of markets is ridiculous. Try to get people to kind of buy into this kind of thing, and then, segmenting it was just absolutely ridiculous. Everybody should be able to play everything, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's absolutely. It's like, oh, no, your monitor's a Toshiba. No, you can't play this.
Aye, exactly. Well, the other thing as well is that, what do you call it? The situation with Ubisoft, of all people, are bringing out, they just brought out Eagle Flight. They've got another 2 titles coming Q1 next year, and they're all cross-platform, as in PlayStation, PC, Vive, Rift, and you can just play them all, which is a really nice thing.
Absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just good native Jay just pointing out the fact that yes, the podcast is in fact episode 16, not episode 15. I have failed.
That's you.
I'm blaming the cold. Absolutely. It's down to the cold.
Indeed. So moving quickly on before I go AFK. Actually, here's one I'm not sure about. The Last Guardian. This has been released this week. Did you buy it?
No, not yet.
You're going to?
I will pick this up at some point. I mean, it looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks, for what I've seen of it so far, it looks absolutely phenomenal. The animations on this thing just kind of, for a game that's been how long now? 10 years?
11 years, by my account, yeah.
In the making, it bloody well should be, but I can't wait to pick it up because it looks fucking immense. The closest I've come so far is watching Jack's Reface play it on Jacksepticeye on Reface playing it on his channel, and looking like a 7-year-old just watching that beast come to life.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's one of those ones I'll definitely watch a Let's Play of. I don't think I mean, obviously I don't have a PS4 anyway, but it's not a game that made me go, oh, I wish I had a PS4. But it does look great, and I like a puzzler, and I like that. I've read mixed reviews, critics-wise, like people kind of bitching about kind of clunkiness and stuff like that, but I think it's if that is even anywhere near true, I look at that and think that I like a lot of games that I really like that are a little bit clunky. The experience far outweighs the clunky.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to split people. Like anyone who remembers Ico and Shadow of the Colossus when they first came out, and kind of has that attachment to it, is not going to mind the clunkiness, and it's going to feel like the same sort of clunkiness that they had back then. And it is kind of one of, and it's been developed like for so long that it's kind of got that in-baked clunkiness to it because they started making it 10 years ago. I think it's just going to have that feeling about it. You'll see it in any videos that you watch. There is a lot of kind of camera issues, things like that you're going to get with the game. So I think kind of folk that haven't played the newer ones might see it as being a bit of an issue. I think anyone that's kind of get that nostalgia hits from the previous games that team's brought out.
Was it Ico or Echo?
Team Ico is basically the team behind, Ico, funnily enough, and then Shadow of the Colossus, and now this. So yeah, I think if you remember either of those two or loved playing either of those two, you're absolutely going to love this. And I think anyone else will just need to kind of if you give it the time, I think you'll get used to the clunkiness, and I think the game itself will probably charm its way into your heart, because certainly that's what the last two did.
I've charmed my way into many things' hearts. Not all of them alive, but we'll go into that later. Sweet. D, any thoughts on The Last Guardian? Is it something you've seen, something you're aware of, or?
It's not something I'm aware of at all, to be fair, so I don't know anything about it. I know less about it than I do Final Fantasy, and I know fuck all about that.
Okay, let's move forward then with something that you will know about. Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes.
That is going into the EA Access Vault, if you're still an EA Access member, on the 13th of December.
So I've got Battlefront, I got that last Crimbo, didn't I? So
you've not played it much, have you?
No, I kind of played it a little bit. Got over the initial wow of it, and then just didn't like the gameplay. So I just went, not having it.
You might have a little bit of gameplay now that it's going to the vault where a couple of us will actually have it, because I think I was resenting paying for it personally.
Oh, I mean, the issue wasn't players. So, I mean, there's still a player base there just now if you want to jump onto it. I think that is the thing is, D picked it up. I didn't even know that D had picked it up. I picked it up at the time, so at least you get to be disappointed for free.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of. I'm happy with that.
Is what it comes down to.
I mean, it kind of looked lovely. It kind of certainly had the kind of atmosphere and of the different settings and so forth. But I just didn't enjoy the gameplay that much. It could be just that I didn't kind of play it enough. But I don't know. There was something missing from it. There was almost like a lack of depth, because strangely enough, I preferred the kind of ground play, kind of like your normal kind of Call of Duty or Battlefront, not Battlefront, Battlefield kind of play, rather than actually getting to kind of shoot about in any of the vehicles, which I didn't expect at all, to be fair. And I don't know, I just didn't have the kind of feel that I was hoping for.
Yeah, no, I was exactly the same. I mean, from a technical perspective, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It still looks absolutely gorgeous, and the sound design in that game is it's Star Wars, I suppose, but it's Star Wars to a T. It is absolutely impeccable. But the game itself just fell short for me. It was just it just felt a bit empty, a bit soulless. I didn't really feel like I did anything. Like it didn't really feel like it kind of had any way to kind of make an impact on the game one way or another. The modes just kind of felt as if they would churn out whether you were there or not, which obviously is true, but you shouldn't feel that way about it. It's like that attack's going to make it to the end of the track, whether you're playing the game or not. So why bother playing the game? Was almost how it felt.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, but it was just kind of soulless. Yeah, who knows? Maybe once it goes free, we should all just jump in for a Wednesday night and give it one last crack and see if it's actually worth it. do a
Yeah.
stream, but
Get
They've
totally
got
fucked.
Yeah,
they've got the
but-
Rogue One DLC coming out as well. That's the thing.
yeah,
Which ties it in apparently.
awesome.
Do you know what? I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know that I would. I don't know that fussed about it. I mean, I'll try it out because it's free in EA Access and a game share. So whether I like it or not, it's getting installed in my console by my brother. Because if he installs something in his machine, it installs to mine as we're game sharing. Yeah, but I'll give it a spin. But I would play it definitely if there's a campaign. But that's coming in Battlefront 2 apparently. So we'll see how that works out for us.
I suppose that was another thing as well, because I mean, it was one of the reasons that I didn't kind of take to Titanfall is you didn't have that initial experience of the campaign and kind of completion of something. So that's perhaps something that kind of let it down as well in tandem with just the actual general gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll have a go at it anyway. I think it's one of those things. Most games are fun when you've got your mates, because there's a horde mode on Battlefront that wasn't there when it first came out.
All right, okay.
That you can go in and just be your mates and just shoot a bunch of stormtroopers. That sounds like fun. Because I hate playing against humans because I'm shit at it.
Because they did have, I mean, they had like a couple of, I think it was 2-player kind of missions. It was just essentially that. It was waves. A kind of basic horde mode, but it was only
Katrina and the waves.
But I mean, it really wasn't that good. Which was, I don't know, it's a real shame. Yeah, I think
opportunity. Mind you, I'm sure it sold well.
Oh, it absolutely did. And then Reddit fucking exploded. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Well, here's one I want to see if it makes D jump at his keyboard. D, the beta sign-ups for Ghost Recon Wildlands have just opened up.
Shit, I've just knackered up a paint. What? Wildlands is what?
Undo.
Yep.
Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands betas sign-up is open just now, so you can go and sign up to get into the beta to try it out. Really? I thought you'd go over this.
Not sure. Not a fan of the whole beta testing thing.
In fear of it not being the complete game?
Yeah, so I think...
It's never the case, it's always the finished game.
No, but then I do it and either it's not... I suppose it's a good way to test out whether or not I want to
find out shit later.
Well, there is that. Or I play it and go, that's amazing, and now I can't play it for another 3 months or whenever it's released.
That's fair enough. I love the betas because I like 9 times out of 10 I'll buy the game anyway. The only one one I've avoided was Steep, and I was going to buy Mirror's Edge Catalyst in the sale, and it went to the Access Vault anyway. But I quite like the betas for that, and I think that for the most part they're a very clear kind of indication of the game. The only thing that I don't like personally, and it's a bit of a moany-faced bastard gripe, is the fact that I hate when people go in the betas and don't report problems. You're going, that's not there for you to enjoy the game. That's there for you to get the game tested fully. So you're going to do it. And if people
I'm sorry, I'm one of those guys probably.
Yeah, well, fucking don't sign up.
How do you usually, so that's a question from a guy who doesn't kind of... I've never really done kind of betas, to be fair, certainly not on the Xbox. What is the feedback forum for that then?
Depends on the publisher, but it's usually a web page, or it can... Sometimes they'll even just like set up a subreddit for it and stuff, but officially it's usually like a web page. I'm trying to think of what game it was. I tried ages ago that actually had an in-game kind of reporting system. I can't remember what it was. Now, I don't think it was Alien Colonial Marines, but it was something about first-person shooter anyway. But it depends on the companies, and I really like to get detailed on it if something goes wonky.
Talking about bugs.
Yes.
Kind of. Just to jump ship completely on the topic of conversation, but whilst I remember.
Tenuous at best, man. Do you like?
That's fine. All right. So, do you remember way back when we were bright eyed and bushy tail when it came to the Division, and I was achievement whore moding it?
Yes.
And there was a glitch with 2 echoes that I couldn't get. And I reported the glitch, and the kind of their only suggestion was to jump in another co-op game to see if it was not fucked on theirs either. Well, I hadn't kind of revisited that in ages because I got pissed off with the feedback. And then last night I went in search of the two echoes, and they were both there, and I got them. I got my achievement, my second rare achievement. And do you know why it's rare? Because it doesn't fucking work for anyone.
Nice. That was a little bit heated there. You all right? You feeling better?
I'm fantastic.
This is this this was the one that you put in a ticket for and everything just to try and get, is that right?
Yeah, I put in a ticket about a couple of glitches, I'm pretty sure, but that was the first one. And the reason why it pissed me off is if you're a kind of achievement gatherer like myself, and you spend that amount of time doing all the collectibles in the game and you can't get them through no fault of your own, I mean, it's a travesty. It's complete injustice and a waste. I want my money back. So whether or not they've fixed it intentionally or not, it was a very well-known bug. So yeah, I was quite the happy camper last night.
And they'd never actually got back to you on the ticket?
No, they never said it was
Right?
resolved. No.
Can I ask a question?
Fuck
Yes,
Ubisoft.
How many G's was that?
Ooh,
Yeah.
20 maybe, 25.
This is why I don't achievement whore, because the worst ones are the ones like Forza Horizon, where they find all the roads. I'm like, I'm not even starting that because there's no clear indication system as to where you've been, and the map is fucking giant. I'm not doing it. I'm just not.
I think they all display though.
Do they?
Yeah, so in each of the, or in some of the safe houses, you open up something. So in the actual main kind of base of operations in the game, your sniffer dogs that you unlock, that unlocks all the collectibles in that area. And you get something.
Is that a perk?
Yes, and is it the security wing? You get the dogs.
I'm talking about Forza.
Oh, are you? Sorry, the Skype just did glitch there. Sorry.
Sorry, I was talking about the roads being my problem with in Forza Horizon is the fact that we've got to cross all the roads. There's no indicator as to where you've driven and where you haven't. So the idea being it's a real pain in the ass, because that's why I don't achievement over, because I know for a fact I would drive 499 out of 500 roads and never be able to find that fucking nugget of tarmac to drive over.
Well,
that wee boher where you missed the curb.
Exactly. Yeah, that's I would go to bed just sweating my ass off worrying about that at night. My OCD would not fucking allow for that at all.
did Stuart not say that on the map something did change with it and he just can't find this last road?
He said that once you've driven on a road, the proportion you haven't driven is still marked in grey, but the rest of the road that you've activated is red. But there's a bit and he said, "Oh, it's dead easy once you figure that out." And I went, "Brilliant." He goes, "How many have you done?" He's like, "I can't find the last road." There, I would much rather be 150 roads away from completing it than be one, because one would just upset the shit out of me.
And I would submit a complaint and a bug report and ask for money back.
Or a map.
Or a
So,
map, yeah.
Shadows of the Past activate 63 echo scenes. Only 4% of gamers unlock this, and 25 Gs.
Nice. Round of applause for that, man. I say round of applause. You're wasting your life.
I know.
All right, moving swiftly on. Dead Rising 4 reviews are in. User base looks like 50-50. Like a lot, like even just taking like Metacritic, users are saying brilliant or shit. Critic wise though, it's taken quite a reasonable amount of plaudits here. And I think a lot of people are ignoring what is being stripped from the game and thinking just get on with it, it's a game kind of thing. Interestingly.
I'd be surprised if this wasn't a fantastic game.
Well, the thing that I've never enjoyed Dead Rising. I only enjoyed it when I played with you guys, and they've taken that out.
What?
So I don't see what... I'm not buying it. I'm genuinely not buying it because I didn't enjoy the story enough to care. If I was playing with you guys, I'd have fun all day long, stupid nonsense, dress up as Buzz Lightyear and run over a trough of zombies. A trough is now a collective noun for zombies, by the way.
But you can still do that, can you not?
Apparently the only co-op mode is like a cut down version, like the what do you call it, the Arcade Super Remix edition that we played on this channel a few weeks back. So that was okay, but you were very aware it was watered down. I just enjoyed the campaign with my mates, and I think taking that out makes me think I'm not arsed with this. I'm just not.
Yeah.
That's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they've made a kind of lot of changes. It's like the original. Well, they've kind of lessened on this since the original Dead Rising. But this is the other complaint people have got with it was so in the original one. I mean, the original one is basically just a roguelike. To be fair, it's like you had like X amount of times up 4 days. I think it was like kind of in game to run through the whole thing.
Sounds about right.
And that kind of whole timer system is now just gone.
See, that takes out the urgency.
Yeah.
But was the in-game an actual clock, or was it real? Yeah, it
No,
was
it was a
actually
clock.
because side missions fucked off if you didn't complete them, didn't they?
Yeah, there was an actual. There was that, and there was the clock that was applied to the whole game. So you'd like 7 days, I think it was.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Is it kind of it takes away from the urgency, but it also kind of takes away from the replayability because chances are the first time you'd be through Dead Rising, like the original, certainly, like you did not finish it. The time beat you, and you need to get better in order to do it. You need to start sussing out where the best weapons are and where you can opt on what it was to actually go in order to complete that game in order to get through it. And that just became less and less with 2 and then 3, and 3 was all more about combining weapons and combining vehicles and just kind of having a grand old laugh. And now, well, they've taken out the timer completely from 4. So you don't have any of that side of it. But they've also taken out the multiplayer, which... So they've kind of opened it up to be a nice, big, kind of fun park where you just go in and slay zombies to your heart's content.
Which gets boring. I'm sorry, but and it's awesome to look at,
but you
it
need to
gets
do it by yourself. So... Yeah, I'm not really sure where they went with this one. I'm not really sure what it is they're trying to do, what they were trying to accomplish.
I'll gutted about that because I've been looking forward to this coming out. To be fair,
yeah, I'm going to jump on and have a look at people's let's plays or people's kind of video as to the co-op side of things, and if it is as watered down as the Ultra Mega Remix Edition is, it can piss off. If it's got like a separate campaign for multiplayer and it's a little bit trimmed back, I'm okay with that. I'd buy it maybe once it's in a sale at that point, but I'm not paying full whack for a game that's taking the heart out of why I like the game. And I'm not saying that it's a bad game. It's probably an excellent fun game if you like playing on your own, which I do on occasion, but more often than not, my motivation for gaming is hanging out with you guys, and it's the male version of going, "What you doing? Just doing my hair." Do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
It's a strange move to make in this kind of age of, well, anything, but kind of particularly with the kind of games where everything's kind of geared up more for kind of sharing, get involved, and kind of that whole kind of spread the word, get your mates involved, get them to buy it, and all sorts. So it's kind of strange that you wouldn't include that, but the fact that you did have it, and like you say, it's they've kind of removed it as a mechanic, so it just seems a kind of step back.
Yeah, I think so.
Totally agree.
Well, we're all suitably disappointed by that, so let's move forward. In news that people might be pleased of, speaking of Forza Horizon, Blizzard Mountain comes out on the 13th of December.
Blizzard what?
Blizzard Mountain.
What is that?
On Tuesday, December 13th, we have the snowpack coming out for Forza Horizon 3. We're getting apparently getting a whole section of the map opened up. It's a big mountain, and there's going to be cars equipped for snow, and there's going to be a whole bunch of snow challenges and new stunts and new danger signs and all kinds of new things.
And I'm guessing some sort of blizzard. I'm not sure why.
Aye.
The question is there more XP boards or more roads to drive down?
I'm exactly that. You're one away from the achievement, and that happens. I want to see what the actual comedy would be in getting Zane out in his Koenigsegg 1 and then flinging it around in the snow. Bye.
Totally going to happen. I mean, it'll not be much different. Like the second that thing hits the grass just now, as soon as that thing leaves tarmac, it leaves Earth. So if there is no tarmac, if it's just snow, it's just going to sit there and it's going to be like a BMW, surely. It's just going to sit there and spin.
Exactly. It sounds like a lot of fun, though. I absolutely adore the Forza Horizon kind of environment they've set up. So adding any kind of spin to that's awesome. Also surprised that I'm going into the kind of snow side of things when it's in Australia. That seems a little bit unusual, but I'm sure it snows in Australia at some point. But
Well, to be
Very cool.
fair, it kind of rains a disproportionate amount as far as I'm concerned for Australia as well. So why not snow?
Indeed. No, it looks like a lot of fun, and it's just anything that extends a game that I really enjoy is fine by me. Definitely. And you guys gonna get that?
Sorry,
I'll get
Native
it.
J. Native J, does it snow in Scotland? You guys want to take that one?
It can snow, rain, sun, wind, everything in about an hour's period in Scotland. It literally can be all the seasons at the same time. I've actually seen it snowing while it was sunny. It's brutal over here. It's just, it's the best place in the world. If you were like some kind of meteorologist, come to Scotland. It's got everything you need. That was a very sweet question to ask, because you always just assume everyone knows Scotland's shit for weather. So it's very nice to hear somebody's might be disillusioned to the point. Oh, it's quite nice there. No.
Hold on to that
No,
topic whilst I don't search for something that's related.
It's,
Okay.
it's an old joke in this point, but yeah, if you don't like the weather in Scotland, just wait 20 minutes. Whole new one will come along.
That's so true.
So
I think it was Billy Connolly that said there's no such thing as bad weather. Just was it no such thing as bad weather? Just inappropriate clothing choices or something like that, which is pretty much spot on. Grab yourself
Yeah.
a raincoat and away and have some fun.
the 20 minutes one's Billy as well, so probably.
The great oracle of Scotland. If you need to know anything about Scotland, go and find Billy Connolly. He knows everything. Fantastic.
Tell him Tab sent you.
And you're like, what pricks are these? But apparently Zarek's actually been up to Stirling before. God bless you, Zarek. Glad he survived. He obviously didn't go to the kebab shops. Otherwise, he'd be down there with some kind of, like, I don't know, stomach failure. Yeah, so I think I'm now curious as to what Dee's actually searching for. I don't know what part of the subject he was referring to when we to hold on to it. Dee, were you referring to the weather or Forza or?
I was referring to the weather, so I've now found out what I was looking for.
If you're listening on the audio podcast, he's not actually disappeared into a cupboard. He's far away from his mic. He's going to do something magical. I'm waiting something magical coming up. There's going to be odd. Ah, nice.
There we go.
So is that the weather right now?
That is no. I'm not allowed to post that on Facebook at the moment because it's not snowing. The snowing competition hasn't kicked off at the moment. But that was the weather, or that was the view from my front door a couple of years ago.
So explain this for the audio guys, Dee. Would you could explain the photo and also the story behind it?
So for those that are listening and not viewing,
Can we
close your eyes
blow this up?
and picture a wheelie bin. On top of the wheelie
Wow.
bin, there's about, I don't know, the hell's gone with your...
Yeah, that experiment failed.
Picture a giant Vandal K.
Oh, I enjoyed myself there. You tried to superimpose my face onto his bin?
No, I was trying to get a blown up picture of the bin.
All right.
But,
Basically, it's a bin with some snow on the top, just indicating that it does snow in Scotland.
Just indicate it's not some snow. It's about 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, it's a lot of snow. And what happened was I posted this kind of the year that this happened, and then the year after it started sprinkling with snow, and there was like a dusting on the ground. And I reposted this picture for a laugh, and people were like, "Oh, is that how much snow it is?" Even people in the same town as me. So then that became a thing where the
You
following
could say
year-
you've got snows in different area codes.
So like it. So what basically happened was a colleague of mine then posted the next year when we first got snow, ironically, as well. So there's now a competition to see who can post this very picture on Facebook first, and they be the cold winner. And I've been beaten the past couple of years, and then this year we had a new entry from another person. So it was kind of join the game, a player 3. So we'll see what next year brings.
Nice. Well, that is a competition. I think you should actually set up a Twitter account for @DeesBin and just have that just constantly posting, and you can tag it to the Met Office every time that they trigger snow in your area. You can just tell your Twitter account to post that picture, and then you always win.
That's a jolly good idea. What I could also do is just have a Facebook page dedicated to the bin.
That's
It's just
even-
like, what's on the bin today?
I think you should do that. I think you should take a picture of your bin in every season and just make it like the Weather Channel, but for your bin. But yeah, that is probably one of the more tenuous things we've done. So nice work. Moving swiftly on, Last of Us 2 has been announced. Wait a minute, do we need some kind of respirator for Zane? We've lost him. No, a thumbs up. He's not yet passed from this mortal coil. The wizard of the YouTubes has. You alright there, bud?
I'm alive.
Nice. Okay. So you have to be alive because you're the only motherfucker with a PS4 here. So The Last of Us 2 has been announced. Do you have feelings?
Yeah, here's the thing. I have yet to finish The Last of Us.
Apparently that's a tragedy, and you're going to get.
Yeah, I need to I need to pretty much hand in my PS cards immediately because I have yet to get through The Last of Us. It's an awesome looking game. It's got the deep involved storyline everybody talks about. It is like playing a movie almost. It's got Naughty Dog's shooting.
Shitty shooting
Mechanics, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. My brain is just not alive today at all. It's got Naughty Dog shooting mechanics, which just for some reason in Uncharted, there's so much kind of jumping around and flipping around and everything else involved in that you're not kind of purely tied into the shooting, so it gets away with it. Yeah. I cannot do it. I can't fight my way through The Last of Us because the shooting is just fucking awful, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Last of Us 2 if they manage to update that. If they actually manage to give it better shooting mechanics, then I will very quickly watch a Let's Play to catch up with the rest of the storyline, and then I'll go into Last of Us 2. Nice. It's a shame because everything else about it is just as people say. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. The storyline kind of hooks you as you're playing it. Is really well done. It's really well told. It's Naughty Dog. They don't do that badly at all. Like they've got to be some of the best in the field at it. But for me, the hurdle of actually just physically playing the game and just using their mechanics to shoot is not good at all. So I am kind of looking forward to it, but I don't know. I'll need to actually get a hold of a demo or something before I could decide, because it wasn't for me.
The thing I was actually looking at as well during the PSX event last week was the DLC was announced for Uncharted, the Lost Legacy DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Interesting that they're using a female protagonist in this one. I don't know how it ties on. I assume it's somebody tied to Nathan Drake. But my concern is that taking Uncharted and putting a female protagonist at the front of it will just look like Tomb Raider.
I mean, it could well be. It seems to be. It's two from what I can tell, and names are going to lose me here. Naomi seems to be the main character who.
Naomi was the military chick in the fourth one.
Yeah, you're introduced in 4. And the other is another one who I believe came in Uncharted 2, and her name eludes me.
Chloe Fraser.
C. Yeah, there we go. Chloe.
Nadine Ross. Nadine it was.
Nadine. Not Naomi. Okay, fair enough. So
I'm just reading the thing. I don't know.
so I got them all wrong. Never mind.
Just the cold. It's just the cold.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's I mean as far as they're concerned, Nathan's story is done. It finished before, so yeah. Well, why not continue it with other characters within the, within the universe?
Oh, completely.
Yeah, I am certainly not going to complain about that if they manage to keep the same kind of sense of humour, because I think that's the thing. It did a great balance between having a kind of decent pathos within the story and have a good sense of humour about it. And if you can do all that and it plays the same way, I don't think you can go wrong. I think they're on to a winner. I
think I'm loving the fact that at the moment you're podcasting with a glass of vodka and tonic and a bin.
Aye.
I don't know if do you still there?
I am still here. I completely forgot that was on
there. We should take away our toys, let's be honest. Yeah, no, I'd never seen an Uncharted game until you played the Let's Play on your channel, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I actually went to work every day. I went to work. I'd kind of start up my server checks in the morning and all my usual infrastructure crap, and on my other screen, I fired up your episode, and then when it would get to like a Monday where you hadn't done one on the Sunday night, I would get raging, like, "Where's the video? What happens next?" And that's good writing if you can just watch it as a bystander and the story really pulls you in. Don't get me wrong, I think it was massively helped with your kind of quippery and shenanigans in between, and obviously you're falling off things and getting attacked by shotgunners. But genuinely, just a really brilliant Let's Play. That's probably, if someone to say to me, what should I watch on Zane's channel, I'd say watch that series first, just to kind of give them an introduction to you, because it's a fantastic series. The banter's incredible, and it's just a bloody good game to kind of follow as well. So everything's there.
Yeah, the game makes it easy, like, which always helps. The game gives you a lot to work with. But I mean, probably using up material that we'll need for 2 weeks' time when there's fuck all happened and we need to talk about games of the year and that type of shit. But as of this moment, it has got to be game of the year for me. Like, that game just did absolutely everything.
Is that what we're going to do on the 21st? We'll do our Tab Game of the Year series. I think we should actually. That's it. We'll have to make up some comedy categories as well. I'm all for that. Let's make that a thing.
Just make up some bizarre awards. Absolutely.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan.
That means that Dee's going to be very busy making award graphics for everything.
It sounds that way, or I'll just make one trophy and place the title on each one.
That sounds like my primary school when they gave you an award for not like being killed on the way to school, or doing well, whatever that was. Yeah. So moving swiftly on, before we go into video game chat, I would like to quickly. Well, actually, Dee's got a couple of points there as well, but actually, Dee, do you want to go your points first? Because I fear that Zane might go on a bit of a rampage.
I'm considering dropping the first one at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother. What we'll do is we'll leave that as a mystery, and if anybody in the chat room can guess what it is, we'll send them a Twix.
All right, moving on from Pewdie. Oh, sorry.
Ain't nobody getting no Twix now. We are clean out of Twix territory.
You can have a Twix. You can have a Twix. Everybody can have a Twix.
I am so glad I didn't simultaneously come out with what I was about to come out with at the same time. That could have been really quite horrible. Anyway, carry on.
All right, so just in terms of tech news, I suppose there was just an interesting article. So I don't know if you kind of saw the fact that there was a couple of companies affected, but the main one was TalkTalk. Last week it came out that the kind of default passwords for their routers not had been hacked, presumably it had been stolen from somewhere, but it just meant that all the routers still sitting with their default login details were exposed. And it was like, okay, so then you kind of wait for the advice to come out. And the advice from TalkTalk has been, don't be afraid and don't change your password.
Don't do anything. What password are we talking here? Like,
So it's both layers. The threat is in twofold. There's the original layer of your default password logging on to the router admin, but there's also the backdoor on these Zyxel devices, particularly has a root logon that's completely exposed because of an unpatched Linux, basically a subset of a Linux kernel that runs on it. You can backdoor it in a heartbeat just using the MAC address as an access point. It's quite fun actually because my neighbour upstairs actually has that very router and was saying to me the other day, can't go on the internet. You're like, no shit, Sherlock. So yeah, that's not only what they're not pointing out is that they're saying that not to change your password, it's not a big deal. Reset your router, and that advice is actually subset. They're saying to reset your router and that will fix it. What it's actually doing is the actual advice on their phone line is reset your router will come back online, and then it will reset again. Just wait and it'll come back. What they're doing is they're forcing an automatic update on it via the firmware check as the router starts up. However, that's not resolving the password issues. This password issue is still there. It's patching the kind of subset issue. Now, the reason that they're not bothering their arse to tell people to change it is because fundamentally, even if you've got access to somebody's router, you've got access to all these devices. Now, they get hit with the Mirai worm from inside of the TalkTalk network, for example. that's a fundamental internal infrastructure problem. What they should be doing, well, the risk that people's own stuff's slim because you'd have to drive to the person's house and access their Wi-Fi access point in order to interrogate it. So unless somebody leaked all those access points and the people's addresses, then it's not a factor.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come to the 70-year-old woman upstairs from his house and go, I'm going to hack you all the internet with a 2 meg line, right? It's not going to happen, and it's not a feasible attack vector for anybody who's going to actually try and like damage somebody's internet service. It's not. The degradation was effective before the firmware patch, so the firmware patch fixes that. But yeah, I think the sole reason they've done it is because they don't want to scare their customers. The reason people got default passwords is because they don't know shit about what they've got. For me, it's a customer service fail. They should be saying, phone this number, we'll set up a bunch of agents, it's going to be busy, but phone us and we'll talk you through fixing it.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. And instead of taking on that massive load, a massive task, they've just went, oh, don't worry about it, because they're right, because it is a low kind of quality attack vector, but it's still an attack vector, and it's your responsibility as an ISP to look after your customers. By all means, say, here's what will happen if you don't change it, and here's the possibilities, and here's why we'd like you to contact us. That's how they should handle it, not just say, full stop, you don't need to bother. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, this is the thing, like, because as far as I was aware, it's like I could pretty much find out the make of any kind of router and go on a quick Google search and find its default.
Well, that's it. How many people in your block of flats, for example, right? And they'll say, oh well, there's that one's called Sky One, that one's called Thompson, that one's called. Yeah,
it's like I'm pretty sure I could have found out like that particular password just through a Google search anyway, even before the hack. So absolutely, I think turning around and saying don't do anything, turn around like there's no need to do anything, I think needs a bit more of an explanation for people who aren't quite as tech savvy as
let them understand what they're getting in for.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you probably should change it, and here's how to do so. Would have been kind of a bit better information to put out there, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem quite as much something to worry about as it's been made out to be.
Have any of you guys ever broken into Wi-Fi?
Broken into Wi-Fi? No.
Right, so the reason that everybody always says, oh, use WPA, use PSK, right, because they want you to use a higher quality encryption. If, for example, you use a decent packet sniffer and start firing Wi-Fi packets at a WEP's easy, right? Because if you fire a Wi-Fi packet at a WEP access point, and there's a lot of open like networks like your Starbucks, and a lot of them are still sitting in WEP because they never bothered to upgrade the infrastructure. When you fire at a WEP access point, it comes back and tells you that's not right. It should be something more like this. It literally echoes back, here's what you're looking for, and you're kind of going, thanks. And so you just keep hitting it enough.
Yeah,
you can brute force a WEP access point, probably with a mediocre laptop and a mediocre Wi-Fi adapter in probably 5-10 minutes at a push. So if you're stuck in an airport for an hour, easy meat, right? That's the stuff that people don't understand, and that's why when you buy from Sky or you get a broadband router provided, they already set up in WPA, PSK, and that's the way it should be. The problem is that that's protecting the consumer, and I get that, but I get that when you say to certain consumers, oh, by the way, we're going to need you to jump onto your Wi-Fi and change your hingamadoogle, people will go, I stopped reading that sentence halfway through, pal. I get that, but offer the advice for the people that are. Some people will ignore their fear of technical stuff, and actually ignore the whole problem. Other people will have a fear of technical stuff and ignore it, but when they think that they're in jeopardy in any way, they will actually peek up and go, do you know what is it I need to do?
Oh, exactly.
So give them that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the point where there's headlines out there saying TalkTalk hacked, people are going to sit up and take notice, and then they'll turn around and go, right, so what is it I need to do? And at that point, giving them the advice of, oh no, nothing, just leave your password as it is. I think that's a bit shitty. I think at that point you go, well, there's no real major concerns, you can leave it as it is if you wish. However, you probably should change it, and here's how you actually go about it. You'll find those folk will actually sit up and listen and do it at that point because, well, they've asked you the question in the first place. So Yeah.
See if they were the first company ever to get hacked, or amongst the first few, and they were apprehensive, you could kind of understand where they were coming from. But it's not an uncommon thing these days. I mean,
Yeah.
a week or a month doesn't go by where there's some kind of data leak somewhere.
Yeah.
Sony.
Well, that lasted
Everyone.
what, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
That
but-
thing's real. TalkTalk only got fined last week. 400 grand they get fined for loss of user customer data. Last week they get fined that. So that makes you understand that okay, they're still dubious about their brand being damaged. But what it does, it also shows their customers and everyone else is that they might at the time they says we've got processes in place to make sure this doesn't happen again. Okay, it's, in a technical sense, it's a different thing, but you've still shown you haven't learned a lesson in how to communicate.
Yep.
So fuck you guys, sort your shit out.
Exactly.
And the real problem isn't just TalkTalk. The problem is TalkTalk provide third-party internet provision to likes of the post office, and a lot. There's little providers that nobody fucking uses, but some elderly person gets a letter through their door saying, "Oh, join fucknet," and it'll be some random, maybe not fucknet, but join BingoNet, right? But like an unknown brand. It's kind of like you get a lot of these MVNO mobile providers that turn up that don't have any infrastructure. They're just basically buying your data. It's like that, and these people go, "Oh, I'm going to join that one because it's cheap." It's not actually cheap. It's cheap because they've got no overheads because they're not providing you fuck all, including no support. Here's a good example. The neighbour upstairs is a TalkTalk provided service by the post office. Now, if one of you would care to jump onto the post office's broadband website just now, just jump on there and have a look. Post office broadband and have a look at this website. I swear to God, it looks like somebody's WordPress. It's brutal. I'm just going to do it myself here, so I'll make sure I didn't hit a weird site when I first did it. But it's absolutely terrible. There's nothing on it. There's no like customer support. It's all very it's very beige. It looks absolutely crap. There's nothing there. So yeah, these guys shouldn't. If this is the situation where they should no longer be fight. There should be a point where they don't find these providers. They should just turn around and say, "You're not servicing requests anymore. Fuck off." And go to the customers and say, "Here's who you can use." I'm not saying like the first time it happens, but they get fined last week and they've just screwed up again. If they do it one more time, there should be a flagging system to make them sit up and take notice.
Well, yeah, but there needs to be a balance.
Yeah, I think three strikes is a fair balance.
Well, no, I mean, that's...
I'm not saying it's their fault they get hacked. I'm saying that they should get struck for their handling of it, not the hack.
No, but yeah, how many people lose their jobs over them therefore not doing that? Do you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be a kind of balance between, there needs to be a punishment severe enough that they actually need to sit up and take notice of it, but not a punishment so severe that, right, you fucked this up twice, now you can never do it ever again, and by the way, everybody you employ is now on the dole.
Yeah, no,
Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean by that, but I just mean that there's got to be some kind of better punishment than what they're getting, because maybe
absolutely.
Maybe like a veto on you can't bring on new customers for 3 months, or just something to say fucking sort your shit out.
That would work. Well, I don't know.
Something's got to threaten their livelihood before they'll set up and take notice, because the problem is that they're selling a highly technical product and packaging it up so that everybody can be spoon-fed it, and then they're not taking responsibility for what they're offering, and that's bullshit, because there's people like us, we will go, what's wrong with that, let's figure that out. There's people that are fucking terrified of having the internet, but they've got it because it's the only way to exist in the modern world, and it's bullshit that they're getting dragged through the coals like this.
Indeedy.
There's my rant. There you go. I had a good rant. So now it's over to... Before we go, I have had mine. Before we go over to Movie Land and a bunch of random news there, Zane, have you heard about the new Samsung S8?
Yeah.
Now, this is conjecture. We don't know for fact. We've got some confirmed rumours, but whether that's confirmed, we don't know for sure, do we?
I mean, at the moment, I don't think there's been anything to confirm this. It seems to have been it was today anyway, probably about 8 hours ago, 9-10 hours ago now at this point. There just seemed to be a whole slew of reports of the Samsung S8 is removing the headphone jack, and it'll just be USB-C, and that's it.
So how do you feel about that this time around?
That they're pulling an Apple.
What a bunch of bastards.
I mean, I have no words. I have no words.
It's kind of funny though. It's kind of like watching somebody make a fuck up and then going, "Oh, I'm going to do that."
I mean, it's apparently like blowing up people's pockets, wasn't it? Like enough to wasn't pissing enough people off, so they just thought they would try and piss off the rest of their market base by taking away their headphones. Like,
They've just had a free customer survey into what would happen and what the reaction would be if you took away the headphone jack.
If you took away the headphone jack, yes,
and they didn't even pay for it.
Yeah, and nobody was that pleased about it.
Twats.
Welcome to the future. The future is dongle shaped. Everything is fucking dongles, and I get if you go, no, you just put an adapter in. That's brilliant. I know how it works. I understand that it works, but leave the fucking. I said this to D today. They're saying, oh, it's thinner, and you put a bigger battery in. Do you know what? Give me my little phone here, right? I've got a cheap ass phone, right? I've got a little cheap kind of San Francisco company called Blue, right? See if that, and this isn't a thin phone, but see if this guy here was another 2 mil thick, and it gave me a day and a half battery, or 2 days battery, I'd be happy as fuck. I don't need this to be thinner. I don't. So stop putting shit in my pocket I don't need. Because I was going to go for the S7 recently, and then I thought I'll buy this little cheap one to see how I like Android. Because as you know, I transitioned out from Windows Phone, and I can't see a reason to go for the doubling my tariff a month for the better. I can't. I mean, it's a much better phone. Like D's got a new phone, and his phone kicks ass as well. But it's just, I don't fucking. That's not. I like that little fucking adapter. See that? That's my pal. Every day there's a little fucking cable in that. Every single day.
Yes. I would rather take my chance and sit with your little mobile fucking bomb nestled beside my nuts than buy that fucking thing without a headphone jack. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Am I just getting old now? Like, am I holding on to something for absolutely no reason whatsoever? Am I just missing the point?
Well, no, it's not that. What it is if you look at it, I'm all for people saying Bluetooth headphones have come a long way. They have. I completely agree. Bluetooth protocols come a long way. I completely agree. Streaming protocols come a long way. I completely agree. What I don't like is being my hand forced. If I want Bluetooth headphones, cool. I'm going to put Bluetooth headphones on my phone. Cool. I really like these. I'm happy to charge them. That's a choice I'm happy to make. I'm not fucking happy being told that's the only option you got, kiddo.
Yeah, I could understand it with the Apple one. I didn't like it, but I can understand it from Apple's point of view. Whereas they take away that headphone jack, where it's the only jack on that phone that is open source, and they replace it, and the only way you can attach anything to it is through their Thunderbolt Lightning. Very, very frightening. It's through that. It's not the Thunderbolt jack, it's the Lightning socket. And by doing that, basically, they own the patent to it, and anybody that wants to connect anything, anybody that wants to build a peripheral for it has to pay a license fee to Apple to do it. They make a killing. They make money hand over foot by taking away that jack. I don't see what Samsung gets out of this, other than pissing people off. I'm beginning to think they started blowing up phones on purpose at this point, the fuckers.
Well, the thing is, this is the situation where they should be doing everything they can to please people.
Yeah.
Now, the only way they can get away with pleasing people here, and it's a very slight, if the only way they can balance this situation back a little is if it's got 2 USB-C sockets on it.
Yeah, okay.
That's the only way they can get away with removing the headphone jack and going, because there was rumours a few months back that they were actually working on a proprietary headphone jack of their own, which you're going, that's the worst idea in the world.
Yeah,
that's just fucking idiocy.
Yeah. Because it's one of these ones at the moment, Samsung, like that series is the biggest kind of selling, well, over here anyway, is like kind of biggest selling Android phone on the market. But if they're fooling themselves into thinking that puts them in the same kind of position that Apple is in, and everyone isn't going to go, well, no, there's plenty of other Android phones out there that we can just move on to instead, and have this pretty much identical ecosystem and have it run pretty much exactly how the current phone that they're using runs. It's a lot smaller jump than jumping from an iPhone to an Android phone.
Yeah.
Like I think they just lose out. I think they just lose in droves. I don't understand it. I think if they just somehow got into their head that they are Apple, that they've got the biggest share for Android, therefore they can do what they like. It's not the same ballpark that you're playing in, dude.
Yeah.
Have you maybe kind of touched upon possibly one of the kind of reasons why they've done it then, which was the kind of the licensing out the different gadgets and so forth that then have the kind of work along with the product? Are they kind of saying, oh, we want a piece of that pie then? That's money we've lost out on?
Well, they don't own USB-C. Like,
No. It's an open standard.
As a connection, so they don't have a way to make money through it the way Apple does through the Lightning connection.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so they've got a licensing thing they can sell to all the headphone manufacturers and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not then.
Because that's basically what it is with Apple. It's like if they remove the headphone jack, which is essentially open. I say open source, but you know what I mean. Then you've essentially got to pay them. You've essentially got to buy a license to be able to use the Lightning jack connector on your headphones or whatever else. So anytime they sell one, anytime a manufacturer makes headphones for an iPhone, they have got to also pay iPhone some money in order to do it. So it made sense for iPhone to do it. I didn't like it, but I understood where they were coming from a business point of view. I still think it's a shitty anti-consumerist thing to do, but at least there was a logical reason for doing it, even if I don't like the reason. This makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. This is just
This is alienating your audience. I mean, apparently the other thing I read is there's not going to be a memory card in it.
Yeah, they're taking that out as well, which
people expecting those devices is the problem, I think. There's not going to be a buttload of storage, and I don't think you'll need it, but it's this thing of taking away people's options that's not the problem.
Is that saying, is that a known fact? None of this is at the moment.
No, he's talking about. I think he's talking about black rum and ginger.
Ah,
we're talking about flu remedies on the chat room just now. So if you're on the audio podcast, this is what you're missing out on: actual flu remedies. We're fixing the world problems over here, people.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a thing at the moment. This is all pretty much brand new news and is all rumours. But well, it was all rumours last time until it actually happened, and it actually happened. I think this is going to actually happen as well, and it's fucking shite.
Yes. I completely agree. Anyway, the T.A.B crew have spoken. D, how do you feel as an owner of a OnePlus? How do you feel?
Does that affect me at all?
Don't give a shit.
Yeah. Whether or not it's a failure to see the kind of the future. I mean, these guys are tech giants. Like I say, you can kind of see again just kind of Apple, how Apple are kind of going to benefit from it, but it's kind of trying to understand why they're doing it. What, they're doing it twice? What was that? So yeah, are we missing something from what's going to happen with tech, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of the. I guess I just don't understand why the process is happening with the phones at the moment, because I think that's the thing. It's like everything's going to end up being USB-C connections, like, or your PC and everything else is all going to be that at some point, and maybe they are just getting ahead of the game. But I don't know. I don't understand why they need to. I don't know why they feel they need to do that now. Like, let it become a standard within your PC and your other gadgets, and let people actually have that already within their ecosystem. And then when you switch from that to your phone, it's kind of less of a jump, it's less of a transition. It's the fact that the phones are doing it first, I think, is the problem for me. Like, I just don't like it.
I just see it introducing more problems than what any benefit could possibly be in terms of other devices having to charge and kind of having to obviously kind of go out and buy new stuff again when we've effectively kind of gone through what you might call a headphone boom. I mean, how many pairs of headphones and stuff have you got sitting around the house? So, yeah, I'm kind of, it's beyond me at the moment.
Yeah. And as for I don't have it, as for well, I don't have a Samsung phone, so does it affect me? It's first they came for the iPhones, and I said nothing. then they came
dark reference.
Then they came for the Samsungs, and I said nothing.
Are you going to finish that? 'Cause that's horrific.
So I'm going to shout them all down.
Wow. Something we meant to. I'm going to move on quickly before we get any more Hitler references, right? We were talking about the Oculus and stuff like that earlier on. You'd mentioned your Elite controller. How are you getting on with it?
Yeah, so some kind human being kind of furnished me with an Elite controller this week or last week to bring me into line with the rest of the heads on this podcast. So yeah, good. So I like the overall feel of it. The thing that I kind of used immediately just with you playing the Division is obviously the kind of trigger switch to make it kind of more quickly reactive for shooting. I can't be arsed. Mine's up there somewhere. Is it coming back? Has it come back? So I've tried the different sizes of thumb pads at the moment. I'm not kind of got used to that. And then last night I started using the paddle triggers at the back. And so I was mapping things. So in the Division, I was mapping kind of throwing a grenade, health kit, change weapon, and reload. And what I found myself doing, albeit it was phase 1 of said operation, and maybe it's an age thing, where I was starting to panic when I was needing the functions and I was just pressing lots of things.
Just do them all. Yeah.
But the actual problem that I found with it, I'm sure I could hopefully mentally get around that given a couple of weeks, is the two big triggers. The way that you hold it, particularly when you're using the thumbs, and particularly when you're kind of pressing left stick down, for example, the way that you're holding it and gripping it, I'm pressing the bigger thumb paddles. So I'm then healing myself for no reason and changing weapon for no reason and like a bell end. So I think what I'm going to end up with is using the smaller triggers. I think that'll still work and won't cause a problem, and it'll also cut down the number of different things I can press, so my mind might be able to kind of cope with it. So that's kind of where I'm at just now. Have you guys had kind of similar problems?
Yeah, it's definitely a change to the memory muscles. The problem is you're kind of getting. It's a much more efficient way of using things, because I mean, I actually do use mine at the moment. They're actually not on the back at the present because I was playing. What was I playing? I was playing something I don't use them on. I don't tend to use them in Forza, for example, so they're kind of off the back there. I don't use them in Titanfall yet, although I've found a situation where I would quite like them in Titanfall. So I've got this ugly battery pack in the back of it. It's a minger, but I didn't have any batteries charged the other day. But yeah, so the paddles at the back for like the gears is phenomenal, because you literally you can set up any game without ever taking your fingers off the sticks again, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's a complete change. It's a big memory muscle flip, and you know it took a lot less time than I thought to adjust to them, because you tend to actually find that you actually start grabbing the controller this way, like kind of putting it between your hands, as opposed to gripping it this way. You kind of play it this way, and then you're doing this. Your fingers become you're almost a little bit more of a light touch on your controller, because you've got more. Can you get fingers down here and you get fingers up here? You're not just gripping it like you used to do. So it's a change to how you play it. But once you get used to it, you actually handle the controller in a much lighter way, which I think explains why they've rubberized the whole thing. So, but yeah, it's worth the input, because it makes a big difference once you get used to it. But as you say, when you first start doing it, you start going, which one again? And you're doing this. And you turn into somebody's dad trying to play a game for the first time. You start moving the controller around and all this.
Christ, it took me about 4 years to remember X, Y, and A-B, for Christ's sake. So overall good, enjoying it, and glad to be part of the gang.
Awesome.
Alrighty, well, moving swiftly on to movie country. Have we got any more gamey, techie nonsense to talk about before we continue?
Yeah, I think we are good.
Cool. I'm actually going to put a vote up very soon to say, are we going to cut the movie stuff out? Because this is a really lean podcast with games. We could just stop here and everybody would be happy. It'd be lovely. But let's do movies for the meantime anyway. So apparently George Lucas likes Rogue One.
Fantastic. Next article.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, George Lucas spoke to Gareth Edwards this week. So Gareth Edwards directed Monsters and also the last Godzilla remake. And this is his kind of big play. So when George Lucas liked it, he was very stoked about this. Personally, I'd like, fuck George Lucas because I think he's overrated as a director, but he's the man that kind of gave them Star Wars, so you can't really argue with that too much. But yeah, so he liked it, and it was kind of a big deal for Gareth Edwards, so that's cool. And I say I'm a big fan of Gareth Edwards' work just from Monsters, so be interesting to see how that gets on. But I'm really looking forward to the film. Looks awesome. Transformers: The Last Night trailer has been released. Has anybody seen this piss fest?
Nope.
Yep, that's all. Trailer for Guardians.
Do you know what though? I will say, and I'm going to blame fucking Transformers for this.
Blame Mark Wahlberg. It's always his fault.
Nah, before that. No, I'm actually going to blame fucking director's name. What the hell's his fucking
Michael
name?
Bay.
Bay, yes.
Michael Bayleaf.
It's kind of indirectly his fault, but I have noticed recently with quite a few action movies.
There's not the Rad's away. He's away. Terrible. Can't even see it out.
Take care, dude. I have noticed with quite a few action movies recently that there seems to be this kind of trend of just getting the camera right into the fucking middle of it, so that it's like all you can see is like kind of half torsos, and like you don't actually get to see the action. You just get to see all this kind of shite right in your face.
Yes.
Where it's like, and it basically seems to have started from Transformers. Except in Transformers, it kind of made sense. It didn't look good visually, but it made sense. Like trying to get across this idea of just how huge these big fucking hulking robots were that were fighting. Yeah. You didn't see the whole robots in shot fighting. You saw just like kind of parts of the thing. Because they were so big compared to the scale of the humans. Problem is, other directors now seem to have thought, that looked quite good, and they now use it for fucking everything. I've seen it in Marvel movies, I've seen it in quite a few others, and you're just like, it looks fucking shite. I want to actually see the fights, I want to actually see the action that's going on. It was watching... fucking John Wick.
John Wick's fantastic.
It was watching John Wick that made me think of it, because the action in that is absolutely fucking solid and is brilliant and is pulled out a bit more and is like more the way more traditional action movies were. And it's like, yeah, it's not directly Michael Bay's fault, because what he did with a purpose. It was still a shite film because he's a shite director, but at least he did it with a purpose. And now you're just seeing that fucking everywhere with actual people instead of the robots, and it makes no fucking sense and it looks fucking awful, so stop it. Anyway, carry on.
All right, on that note, moving swiftly along, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer dropped this week.
Yeah.
You didn't care about Guardians at all, did you?
I mean, I liked it the first time I saw it. I watched it through. I've tried to watch it a few times since and just kind of found myself a bit bored halfway through and kind of stopped. So there's not enough of a... It's a gorgeous looking movie, and it's kind of funny the first time. Like, the comedic elements hit the kind of first time you see it. Yeah. It's a really good, solid film. It just doesn't have enough replayability, like rewatchability for me. Like, there's not enough of an actual storyline there.
That's funny, because it's literally a film I will watch probably once every couple of months at least.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of movies that are my go-tos. Often when I'm kind of lying on the couch going, I could probably have a wee snooze. I'll stick something on, I know, and that's I'll go to Guardians, or I'll go to like Independence Day or something stupid like that. I really enjoy it. The new trailer looks great because it looks like a development of the idea, and I follow James Gunn on Facebook and Twitter, and he's a great example of somebody in social media doing it right. He's balanced, he's fair, he will call out people on being assholes, he'll call out himself if he's been an asshole. He seems like a really grounded kind of guy. And I'm really thoroughly looking forward to this. It looks like he's developed it, and the thing is, he can, without sounding too kind of lovey-dovey, he puts a lot of heart into what he makes, whether you love it or not. I mean, every little bit of detail in those films is fantastic, so well crafted, and you can tell he's poured over it forever. But the irony is that he poured over Guardians for a couple of years to get it where it became, and he only spent maybe a third of the time, maybe a quarter of the time that Zack Snyder poured over like Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
And he's got more characters in Guardians than there was in BVS, for example, and it's just a solid film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're sitting going, this is a guy who's directed 3 films before this, and look at the craft and the approach and the the quality of what he puts out. You can't blame that on time spent or anything else. That's just a guy that knows what he's doing and has a very clear vision for something that Snyder doesn't have. So I'm not going to go BVS bashing again, obviously, but that's what it says to me. It's a matter of have a defined vision, and what it is the difference between somebody who you give a job to who can Google the answer and somebody you give a job to who knows how to do what they're trying to do or knows what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, I absolutely. I saw the new trailer and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And even within that, like they're kind of. It's hard to say without seeing the whole thing, obviously, but it looks like they're trying to like kind of take the characters a bit deeper than they do in the first one, and that is not to take away from the first one, because it's a phenomenal film. It's the music in that movie is absolutely brilliantly tied in, and you just need to look at something like Suicide Squad to try to do the same thing, and you see what you get in inferior hands. Visually, it's absolutely stunning, and it's a great movie. It doesn't have a great rewatchability for me, but that doesn't take away from what it is, certainly. And I'm absolutely looking forward to the next one.
Awesome.
Trailer looks awesome, and baby Groot. How can you go wrong?
Well, that's it. That's making its own merch, isn't it?
That wee thing is just so fucking cute, man.
Yeah, somebody put a meme up earlier on saying, and it was with Baby Groot running towards the camera, kind of thing. And it's like when your girlfriend's pissed at you, but she's only 4'9". Which I thought was good. The other cool thing about it is I read an article James Gunn was responding to. I think it was Collider it was on, and James Gunn had said, don't expect me to give anything away in these trailers. I've already told Marvel, and we've already spoken about this, there's nothing going to be in this. You will be very, very lucky if you see something about any of these trailers that are coming out that's beyond the first act, which is brilliant. If somebody can fix that and stop feeding us the whole fucking movie, and then you end up sitting in the cinema wondering when that bit's going to happen, that's fantastic. He said this whole first trailer is the first sequence of the film. That whole trailer, so then it feels that way, but I read an AMA with him on Reddit, and he hates modern trailers. He hates the amount that you get. He hates how it all runs. He says, but he understands that marketing has to happen, and that's fair enough. But if he can manage to rein this into being even first and second act, that's okay. If he can keep the third act out completely, then that man has struck gold, in my opinion. Completely. D, any thoughts on it? Have you seen the trailer?
I've not. I mean, I'm tied a little bit with regards to movie trailers because I kind of want to watch them for the sake of discussion specifically on here, but I don't want to watch too much because of that very reason of kind of spoiling films. So I've not seen it, but I will go and see the second one probably regardless. I'll end up watching that trailer having heard that news now. I'm very interested in that.
It's funny because a double-edged sword and a stupid double-edged sword that makes us all stupid, because what actually happens is if you watch a trailer, right, and it's a film you really want to see or a film that's going to be great, you're basically ruining bits of a film that's going to be great. If you watch a trailer and it looks shit, i.e. BVS, which looked okay in the trailers, but there was alarm bells ringing for me when I first saw the trailers anyway, you're seeing a film that goes, that could be shite, but you'll still watch it. So all you're doing by watching trailers is almost guaranteeing to ruin your experience. Because you're not going to learn from the bad trailers that make you go, eh. Because I'm actually now at a point where I'm not going to go and see Wonder Woman. I'll wait for that in Blu-ray, because every trailer I've seen since the first one makes that look worse and worse and worse. It's just the woman jumping off the fucking cliff on a cable going... That just looks total bullshit. Go and if you've not seen the trailer yet, I know you've seen it, Marty. Do not just go and see it. It's tremendously bad. Shocking. Moving forward,
But
Ocean's 8.
that's
On you
yeah.
go, sir.
I mean that's kind of our fault, not like us three, but specifically. But I mean the whole Comic-Con is what springs to mind for this. It's like, and just the entire, well, the whole YouTube culture as well. The whole kind of feed me culture is like they've got to the point where now like movies get announced 5 years before they've even started writing the script. You know, like, they've got a release date before they've got a title page. And we want to know this, we want to know this, we want to know this. So the likes of that is all you're seeing there is you're not seeing something that you're going to see in the final movie. It's like she looked like a cardboard cutout being lured down the side of a hill.
You watching that just now, D?
No. I was watching your comments.
Yeah.
So, but so basically the post production hasn't been added to it yet. But we want to see it, and we demand to see it. So they end up releasing more and more of this stuff, and then we complain that we've seen too much and we've been spoiled.
So is it trailer 2? Is that what I'm looking for?
I think, yeah, it's the latest one. But at the end of the day, what the fuck is a movie studio doing bowing out to people saying, I want to see this? I want to see this means they're excited about it. So make them wait. They want to see it more. They're not going to see it because you didn't give them the wee snippet they wanted.
No, because, well...
You're not going to alienate an audience by not giving them it. You're going to hype them up even further.
See, here's the thing. See, if that was true, wouldn't happen. It obviously works. It obviously makes them more money. Or they wouldn't do it.
I think it's the advertising revenue on the trailers.
That as well. Doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't hurt. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, they've got fucking... they've got entire departments of marketing crews that can give you all sort of thing. We can give you all sorts of information on that. It obviously works. It's part of the reason we saw trailers becoming so spoilerific in the first place was the fact that it didn't affect the sales of the movies. The more information they gave you about what you were actually going to see, more people were going to see the movies. It just got to the point now where people are bitching about it because it's become so commonplace that every movie you see, you know fucking beat by beat what's going to happen because you've seen the trailers. But the reason it did that in the first place is because they found that the more information they were putting in a trailer that told you the story of what you were going to see.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is what most reviews do.
Yeah.
Most reviews will give you a synopsis of like the film. So it kind of tells you beat by beat what the story is of the movie. So all they're trying to do is replicate that in the trailer. Like, this is the story we're sitting down to tell you. And at first, that was getting more people in. So they were getting heavier and heavier and heavier with more and more spoilers, as we call them these days. But it wasn't actually affecting the movies, the sales of the movies. So they kept doing it. All that's happening now is because people have got a voice easier or louder. Maybe not easy. Maybe not that more people have got a voice. It's just that ones that do are extremely fucking loud when they use it. Is all complaining about spoilers and everything else that makes us that's making us revolt against it so hard, which is why they're now having to cut it back because it is having an adverse effect because that's the idea that's been put in your head. I've always said like spoilers is a myth. Like as far as actually spoiling something goes, spoilers is a myth. If spoilers actually had the detrimental effect, you would never see a movie based on a book.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen because who would go and see it? Because that story's already been spoiled for you. So it's weird. We're the ones that caused that problem, and the reason you're seeing things like the Wonder Woman with a cardboard cutout getting lured down the side of a hill is because we want to see more of it, and we want to see more of it, and we want to see it earlier, and we want to see it earlier. And they're just going, well, if it builds hype and gets people talking about it, then we may as well just throw it out there because then they'll talk about it, and they'll talk about it to more people, and more people will hear about it, more people will get interested, and we'll get more money. There's the logic behind that. So they'll just throw it out there whether it looks shitty or not. And what happens is eventually you do it and you do it and do it, and people accept the fact that it becomes common knowledge that is it before there's proper post-production done to it, and that it won't actually look like that. And folk will just get used to that as well.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. You're going to end up getting to a point where they show you the fucking alpha footage in a trailer.
I'll just get to the point where they'll show you the screenshot of the storyboards.
It bothers the shit out of me. As I say, James Gunn is somebody whose opinion I actually appreciate and respect. And someone who has strong views on trailers, if he can get that through, if he can sell $1 billion movie at the box office, which he could do with Guardians, because Guardians was one of the most universally accepted films by people that didn't even know anything about Marvel or care about it and that stuff. Everybody that saw it either went, that was a great little sci-fi action film. Other people went, oh, Groot or Rocket. Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely fucking masterstroke. So if he can pull that off and keep the trailers to a minimum, he could break new ground. And that's what people need. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely. Who's the wee dude? What's going on there?
He's a Wi-Fi thief.
There we go.
Wi-Fi. Well done.
I'm with you. Although I think you're a bit premature with the old snowflakes, but now I realise we were talking about snow. That makes sense. I was expecting the bin to be in there somewhere. So for the guys in the audio pod, D is our graphics wizard. So every time you download an episode of the podcast on your audio device, you get a little picture with it. D sits and crafts that with his loving hands during the course of the episode. And Zane has just kindly presented that to us. It shows what you'll get this week, which is, I shouldn't have said what it was because it'll make people go and check it out. Perhaps, I don't know, but we'll get to that on the sign off anyway. But very nice work, D. Very much like that.
You can absolutely say what it is because spoilers are a myth.
What you should do is you should just give us a third of it next week, and we'll just throw the third of the picture. Teaser. You got a teaser for that's another one. There's a teaser. I literally saw it like 10 minutes before I came on here. A teaser for the trailer, which annoys the shit out of me. You got a teaser for a trailer of Spider-Man Homecoming. The trailer's coming tomorrow, apparently, which does look excellent. The teaser even looks good as well, I'll be honest, but I wish they would just stop fucking about, just give you the trailer.
Hype for the hype.
It's like hype for hype.
Yeah. And you know what?
It works.
You're talking about it.
Yep. Exactly.
I got bored of Spider-Man years ago.
I really liked the Andy Garfield ones. I thought they were, I liked the first Andy Garfield one. The second one's too mopey, and he was actually talking about it this week on, I can't remember what the show was, and he's just saying that's a show, that's a franchise that meant the world to me, and I was so happy to play it. The second movie I hated everything about it, the script, everything. It was just a sad, miserable mess of a film, and he can now talk about it because the rights have been handed away, so he's not allowed to do
picked up his fucking paycheck though, didn't he?
Oh, well, he did. I mean, at the end of the day, would you turn down multiple millions? Because the only film he'd been in before that had been the first Spider-Man and The Social Network. He's now in another film that's coming up. I can't remember what it's called now. It looks phenomenal. But he's a good actor, and he was a great Spider-Man.
For the sake of staying consistent and not looking like a dick, of course I would turn down that money.
Yeah.
No, I'm not against you paying money for that.
At which point you've just broken your contract and I'll see you in court is a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with people taking the money and going, this isn't the best idea. I'm taking the money.
It's not a case of taking the money. It's he signs a contract to do X amount of movies, and he's got to sign that contract. You can't sit there and say, right, let me see the scripts for the next 5 years worth of movies before I sign it. So you've just got to do it. And then if they turn out to be shite, then
why can't you say that? Shite. Why can't you say that, Zane?
Because half the time they're not written.
Oh no, well, you can say it, but you'll not get the job.
Aye.
Well, out of principle, then so be it.
The thing is, the studios the studios aren't going to
goes your chance to ever get the fucking Oscar.
The film made a lot of money, so he wins, they win. If he talks about it now, all that's going to happen is people are going to go, nobody's buying Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? So if he brings that up in an interview and starts going, do you know what, I didn't like it, I think it was a mess. All that's going to happen is there's the people that weren't going to buy it or watch it weren't going to anyway, and the people who didn't know what happened will go and watch it to see how bad it was. He's not doing anybody any harm at this point. I mean, it was years ago, like 3 years ago, 2 years ago now. So, and I think it's good for his career as well to turn around and go, I know when I make a shit film. Because it shows that he's not a moron and that he just buys anything. It shows that he's actually looking for something of quality. And the new film he's got coming out, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about him playing a soldier. It's based on a true story of a soldier that went to went to war but refused to use a gun. And watch the trailer for it. It looks it's Oscar material is what it is what he's walking on, and he's a really strong actor. I really like the guy, so 10 points to him, whatever he does, in my opinion. Simple as that.
I do think they're sorry, change of subject here, but they're a bit old now. That last podcast we did was nearly a month ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was season 1 though.
due to my unfortunate illness. No, this was the beginning of season 2.
That's season 1.5.
I think we need to bring up Ghost in the Shell and whatever the hell the other one is, because Zarak actually went and did his homework.
Did he?
If you remember rightly, we left homework at the end of the last podcast to go and see.
Did.
Yeah. Well, Zarak did his homework and even let us know what he thought of them. So.
Which was?
Now you're going to have to make me go and look for it.
Right. We did, Zarak, it was only because we knew we were going to be away for a long time. We didn't actually, just Zane wasn't well, but we thought we'd leave you something to keep you amused while we bugger. No, a Ghost in the Shell trailer, I like Ghost in the Shell and that I enjoyed it in the sense that the original, I went when I was younger. My brother and I both went on an exploration of like Orosuka Doji, Vampire Hunter D. Not that guy. That's why he hides his face. So like, and like obviously your Akira's and like kind of Dark City and all these kind of things. And I loved all that stuff. I mean, it was dark and it was twisted and it was crazy. And I liked Ghost in the Shell, but do you know what? I don't think Ghost in the Shell was like game changing. It's very much manga in the world of manga kind of thing. It's
oh yeah, I mean if anything it's more kind of popularist. That's not the word I'm looking for. My brain's just not working.
More accessible. It's more kind of mainstreamy. Yeah.
Mainstream, that's the word I was looking for. It's more kind of mainstream end.
And that's the thing, is that it's good, but and yeah, okay, I get the kind of the whitewashing fear of it being Scarlett Johansson, but that's not really how it works. Because you take, for example, the Great Wall, the Matt Damon film that's coming out.
Yeah.
That everyone's going, oh, that's a film about the Great Wall of China and the history of it, and Matt Damon's in it. Why is that? Well, actually, no. The film being produced by 2 Chinese production houses, and they wanted Matt Damon for international appeal. They hired him. It wasn't
plus the character's a foreign character. It's not a great character.
Well, yeah, just like the was it 13th Warrior? I think it was with Tom Cruise or whatever the fuck that was. But that's the thing, is like you're kind of going, okay, I get that there's a concern for whitewash. That's definitely a factor. But when it's been produced by like how many films get made by Alibaba Pictures at the moment, because there's a lot of money coming out of Dubai and getting pushed into film. So at the end of the day, yeah, whitewashing's a concern, but when it comes to like, say, when somebody actually selects that, then that's your choice and how you want to market your product. I do agree that there's a little bit of concern. There's definitely an issue with there not being a massive amount of kind of African American leads in movies in general. But you still have the free right of choice to do what you want to do with your film. And if you want to put in Scarlett Johansson instead of a lot of the kind of Chinese market bringing a lot of kind of Chinese pop stars and things like that. So if you look at, has any of you guys seen Independence Day Resurgence, for example?
No.
D, have you seen it?
Yes.
You know the Chinese pilot that turns up that the sidekicky guy takes a fancy for?
No.
Well, apparently she's a kind of big pop star, and that's the thing. It's like, put people where you want your people to be to promote their careers or whatever. That's fine. Also, at the same time, use the people that people know to promote your film. Fine. That's what it is. So I think that there's a concern over the situation with Scarlett Johansson being in that. You probably could have cast other people, I dare say, but I would think just watch the film and see if she's good in it. It's as simple as that. The only problem I have with Ghost in the Shell specifically is that it is very much, I think Zarek said in the chat room about the fact that it's very much like he felt like it was a cheap Blade Runner. I would go with that, actually. It does. It's quite derivative. But and Scarlett Johansson doesn't really fit the character's name so much, obviously. But at the same time, it's a film. Go for it. See how you get on with it. Put it this way: if you put Ghost in the Shell into UK and US cinemas, fronted by Scarlett Johansson, a lot of people go and see it. If you put it in by an unknown Asian actress, it'll be treated the same way a lot of excellent kind of Tartan Asia movies are, like the original Old Boy or like The Raid, for example. Films that are absolutely incredible, but they won't get that mainstream bite that they deserve because people go to the cinema for who they recognise. They do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying a name just makes it work, because you can take a slightly lesser known person, but that's relying on word of mouth. If you put in a big name, you're buying that audience. You're just buying it outright.
Yeah. I'm always just a big advocate of pick your battles, and I don't think this film's going to be big enough for it to actually matter.
Yes.
Well,
This is one for the nerds, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Like I think that I think the whole whitewashing argument has to come up, and I think it has to be addressed. And
Yes.
I don't think this is a movie to do it with, and because it's just not going to be a big enough movie. It's not going to be on enough people's radar for it to actually matter. So you like, why waste your time? Why waste your energy on this one? Because
Yes.
it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference because it's not going to.
It's not going to generate enough interest.
No, I don't think so.
This is exactly what you're saying there. This is where you're having a black Bond, for example, would make. That's where you
Yes.
have an impact.
Yes.
That's where the impact needs to happen, and that's where you need to change perception. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you said to me, "I'm writing a big blockbuster, brilliant lead character, it's completely new IP. We've never done this before. We don't have a face on the character. It's not a book. It's not. Here's just as a new character." If somebody says, "Okay, let's get an actor in," the way everybody would like it to be is, let's get an actor in, bring a bunch of actors in, and see who fits the role. That's what we want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that you're going to have two sides of the coin. You're going to have, let's bring in, we're all envisaging Chris Pratt, which writes off all African American actors, right? If you say we want an African American actor, it only allows you like a handful of people, because there's such an imbalance in how that all sits. So the problem you've got is that they need to be more that way. They need to be more of the, let's bring in an actor, not let's fill some shoes. Let's bring in an actor. That's it. That's how they should do it. Or an actress. You could write a male role and go, do you know what? That Alicia Vikander would be good in that role. Just give her the job and we'll rewrite it for it. Just because I like Alicia Vikander.
Yeah. Depending on the story you're trying to tell, but yes. I agree with the point in principle, but that way.
Dee, what's your thoughts?
Well, in general about kind of whitewash and so forth.
Yeah.
There is, there's a kind of an issue, but what I don't agree with is changing something for changing something's sake. I'd rather have something naturally develop. So using the Bond, I suppose. So what I'm thinking of is existing kind of characters and roles, and I'll use Bond as an example. And I can't remember if I've said this before. I don't have any issues at all. I've got no hang-ups. That's not me. That's not the type of person I am. But the James Bond role is written in a way as if it's supposed to be a particular single person. So for me, it wouldn't make sense to not cast a white guy if James Bond is a person. The only way that works for me from a story perspective is if James Bond is the same as 007 and it's a code name.
Yes.
So I
get that. I agree with you there.
There's no issues with kind of roles, but don't change it for change's sake and just to make a point.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And again, that's what it comes down to, is that in something like Bond, it's a lot harder to call upon because you've got a defined role there. For example, a lot of people are saying Idris Elba. Idris Elba is a great actor. If you're not sure if he's a good actor, watch Beast of No Nation. Phenomenal. But he's not Bond. He's not suave enough to be Bond. He's too cockney to be Bond. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't sit right, and that's about the person. That's not about his colour or anything. That's about him as an actor doesn't fit that role. And I think you're right. I think with that defined kind of position, it makes it a lot harder, and it can almost be seen as change for change's sake. However, if somebody said to you, "We've done a screen test. Here's this guy. He's phenomenal. That's it. There's your character. Get it done." Doesn't matter. Why is it even a thing? And unfortunately, in this day and age, people somehow still think it is a thing. But if you've got a new character in there, throw it in. Let's put it this way: do you think that Guardians of the Galaxy would have been any different with another actor in Chris Pratt's place? Most definitely, because Chris Pratt is the modern Han Solo, if you will. He's a goofy Egypt, but there's a lot of actors who could have done that role, and it's only because that's who we know, that's who we expect. So again, with Bond, if they changed it now, as you say, if it's a code name, it would fit just fine. You get a good enough actor, be fine. Do you know what I mean? So it is a bit of a kind of hot potato in that respect. It's hard to decide what to do with it, but there should just be more consideration for a good. It's not even consideration. It's literally drop the consideration. Have a good actor. That's it. Stop thinking about it.
I mean, I absolutely see the argument you're making, and I think it would be dependent on how they were to do it. Like, if it was to be a continuation of the story started with fucking what's his face, Blondie, current Bond. Somebody help me.
Daniel Craig.
Thank you. If it's a continuation of the story started with him, and suddenly, like, in the next part of it, it's instead of him, it's a black actor. That's going to be a bit strange, but I mean, the Daniel Craig one was a completely different. It was a reboot in itself. You know what I mean? It was not a continuation of the kind of previous 20.
Can you imagine?
There's nothing really within the Bond character that says it needs to be a white dude. If you're trying to continue the story that they've got going at the moment, then yes, absolutely. Like,
yes,
it would need to be even if it's not Daniel Craig, it would need to be someone similar to him.
Yes.
But.
Well, that's it. If they're doing a full reboot, then yeah, you can do what the fuck you want.
It can be. There's no reason at all, like, within the character for it to have to be a white guy.
Do you know what'd be amazing though? You know how
in which case you just go for whoever happens to be best fitting the role at the time, white, black, or otherwise. Like, yeah.
What I would really like to see though is, do you ever see those crazy video clips of the kind of Bollywood movies where like some guy jumps out of a car, he just takes his shades off and cars explode and shit? I would love to see them go from the old Bonds that were a little bit hyperactive like that to the new Bond that's really gritty, but do a new Bond again and just get an Indian lead and just have cars exploding and have the guy doing this and have dancing. That would be the fucking shit. I would buy all of that. Be phenomenal, man. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, exactly. I completely agree with your point there. Yeah, but. I think I completely took this off topic. Obviously, talk about Scarlett Johansson and Ghost in the Shell, but I guess the only thing I'm caring about with Ghost in the Shell is it going to be any good? It might be, and it's got that same curse as a lot of films get. This is the next Matrix. Are we not past this yet?
Yeah, you're not going to get past it. It was one of those ones. It's people are always going to bring up the Matrix. People are always going to bring up Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's true. Now, if you cross those two things together, now you get a movie. And I want me some black and some Chinese dinosaurs.
Okay, just to go completely off script, because frankly, everything else that is in there is a pile of shite anyway.
Agreed.
Native J was asking, have we discussed Assassin's Creed at all? And I don't think we actually have on the podcast itself.
I discussed it a good few episodes back.
I know I mentioned it during one of our gameplay times, but what's your thoughts? Are you looking forward to it?
I am hopeful for it. I think it's going to not be what people want it to be, in the sense of it not going. I don't think it's going to pander heavily to the gamers. First of all, which I'm hopeful of, because I don't think that a film should be about the game. The film should use the game universe and use the parameters of it and make a great story of it. That's what I think would make a good game movie. But my hope, and we spoke about it before a long time ago, is the fact that I absolutely adored Macbeth. If you've not seen the new Macbeth, it's phenomenal. If you like that sort of thing, I dare say. But Justin Kurzel, who's the director of Assassin's Creed, directed both Marion Cotillard and Michael Fassbender in that Macbeth. And for a film with very little CGI, if any, to be honest, some great camera work, just a beautifully shot movie. Literally, the first time I've cried at a film. Genuinely, I cried at during this film. Incredible bit of work, great actors, both Fassbender and Marion Cotillard. The And So to Bed sequence, if you watch that, fuck you, right? Jesus, just pour my fucking heart out. I'm gonna hook ears off of the D. You're a fucking helmet, right? But no, that there is if those guys if those guys can't tie down. Yeah, I'm done. Fuck it.
Oh, poor guy. All I can go on so far is the fact that the trailer looks absolutely awesome.
Yep.
But it did piss me off.
What pissed you off about it?
One line. And I don't remember.
We've taken you back to the year of the Assassin's Creed.
Aye, it's like we've
The fuck's that?
retraced your lineage back 14 generations to the time of the Assassin's Creed. It's like you know what a creed is, right? It's not a thing. It's a it's a religious doctrine. It's not a time. It's not a place. It's not a. You're a fucking script writer. You write words for a living. Surely you've got a fucking dictionary sitting beside you.
Listen, if you listen to that trailer, right? I don't know if that line's in the film. Do you know why? Because you listen to that trailer. If you listen to that trailer, the way if you listen to that audio clip, it sounds like Assassin's Creed is clipped on top of it. I could be wrong. It could just be a shit line, but it sounds a lot to me like the Yippee-ki-yay Airhead or whatever the fuck they used to dub. It doesn't sit. The intonation of it doesn't sit exactly right, and I don't know whether it's they've dropped it in for the advert. And again, this is a fear that the marketing guys have taken that and put Kanye on it, and everybody's going, why the fuck's Kanye on it? I'm positive that Justin Curzo isn't going, do you know what I want in this trailer? Some fucking Kanye. I don't think that's the case. I think this is another marketing mob chopping the fuck out of a film. And I will let that slide in the hope that it's not a line in the film. I either want it to be a different line or completely negated from the entire script. But as I was getting to before I get fucking slammed by Johnny No Emotions, Justin Kurzel, fantastic director, and you get two great actors. If they can't pull a good story out of this, then I doubt anybody really could. I think that they've got the best potential. Basically, was the point I was getting at that initially. But yes, that line did give me the fucking fear. I was sitting there going, that's not how that works.
No, that's just fucking. That is just a complete mangalization of the English language.
Yeah.
Zane,
I'm going to take you back.
I know good fucking mangalizations of the English language. I think I just did one.
Zane, I'm going to take you back to the history of your lineage. I'm going to take you back to the time of Lorpak.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, like, yeah.
Did you say Lorpak there?
That's what piques his interest.
I have an interesting fact. The people who made the Lurpak adverts back in the kind of 80s and 90s are the same
now. Aardman.
Exactly. It was indeed Aardman, who are most famous for Wallace and Gromit.
I wish I had a Who Cares graphic. Hey! I'm more impressed with the speed at which you found that Who Cares graphic.
He's at that for reach, just looking for the right time.
It's impressive. He just had it there his whole time. Somebody say something I don't give a fuck about. Click. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about it. Zane, you quite like the trailer, and you just get that one fear then.
I'm joking actually. Like, well, I'm not joking. That line really fucking pissed me off, but it looks good, and I think there was always potential with Assassin's Creed that Assassin's Creed itself never got. Like when you played through the first game and then Assassin's Creed 2, and the whole kind of Desmond in the future storyline just kind of fizzled out and never really went anywhere. Like by this point, this game should have been set completely in the present stroke future. And and it should have been a much more rounded out story than it ever came to be in the games. It just kind of diluted it. Like it became too successful for its own good, and they had to keep it going and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going to the point where they just sort of killed off Desmond, and it never really went anywhere.
He got mentioned in, was it Revelation? I played Revelations, I think it was, and he gets mentioned in a passing clip. You kind of go,
Aye, so it's like I think a movie based on that premise could be absolutely awesome. And for what I've seen, what I've kind of heard about this, it seems to be like more set in present day and around that than it is.
Yeah, I'm hearing a 70-30, like 70% future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that because like, gameplay wise, yeah, like you wanted to spend the most of it in the actual game and like running over the fucking street tops of Jerusalem, I think it was in the first game. You didn't want to be spending all that time in the future, but you still wanted it to have a kind of decent story arc. And I think you get a far better chance of doing that in a movie than you have in the games ever did. So I'm kind of looking forward to it for that point of view. Yeah. What I'm not looking forward to is the fact that if they get it right, then you're just going to get a slew of really shitty computer games for the next few decades.
Yeah,
I think computer game movies rather.
The good sense in it is that they have the minute they break the shell on getting it right with making video game movies, we're going to get Marvel mode, aren't we? We're just going to get them every fucking 5 minutes, and I'm okay with that if they do it right.
Yeah, but they won't.
No, they won't. That's true. The one thing the two things that give me faith in this film is initially the fact that they've gone for a separate character away from the original universe. That's bold and sensible. In my opinion, his character's Callum Lynch, I believe his name is, but I've not been following this at all. And the other one being that apparently in the history sections he speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
So you're like, good, okay, you're doing something with some actual semblance of we want something with integrity here. Great.
Yeah.
That might alienate your audience, but it'll probably make for a better film.
Yeah. No, I don't have an issue with that. I think that could actually be pretty cool. Also kind of gives credence to the fact that it's only going to be 30% of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I am kind of looking forward to it. Let's say that trailer pissed me off just because you're like, that's not even fucking, that makes no sense. But yeah, other than that.
Indeed. D, have you got any thoughts on it other than telling me I'm a wanker?
No, I've only seen. So is this another trailer that's come out?
No.
This is the first one.
No, there's been two.
I think this was the second one.
There has been. The second one was about 2 months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that.
All right. Point being, I've only seen the first trailer, I suppose, so I've not seen this one.
What was your thoughts on it?
I was encouraged by it. Would be the description. So, as per kind of what I was saying earlier on, where I'm considering not watching kind of too many trailers. So, because I was interested by the first one, I don't necessarily want to ruin that and get as pissed off as you guys by an insignificant line. So, I'll keep my hopes up.
It's very soon, isn't it? What's the release date? Actually, let's have a check. I can't type anymore. It is 14th of December, so next Thursday?
Really?
Next Wednesday.
Holy shit.
I'm not going to be here, bitches. I'm only kidding. I don't go to first night showings. I fucking hate first night showings because they're always too busy for the bellends eating too much fucking loud food. I'm not talking about you, D. It's fine.
That's what I was thinking. It's one of the reasons why I go to the cinemas to get a decent meal.
Because you can't feed yourself. Yep. But yeah, so no, that's one for me. But I think we should can it there, guys. I think that's plenty for tonight. We can pick up on some of the other stuff in a couple of weeks' time.
No.
Have you got something else?
Now that it's been brought up, yes. Who are these fucking idiots that feel the need to fucking munch all the way through a movie? I have never found any plot line of any movie so intense that I needed sustenance.
Yes.
What's the fucking
Zane, can I give you a solution to that same problem?
Go for it.
Best cinema in the fucking world, mate.
That works.
You try watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and not feel hungry. I dare you.
I had my balls out and everything last night. Watched the whole film. Nobody said shit. But yeah, no, I fucking hate it. I will happily. I would rather wait until film's been out for 3 weeks and go to a 10 a.m. showing of it and enjoy the film. Just would see people just being bell-end does my head in.
Oh, the thought of getting up early to go see a film, that's fucking hilarious, mate.
I think actually with work hours, you getting up early is unheard of. I think on weekends I've never seen you pre 12 o'clock.
Correct.
Like a hero. I'm actually just jealous because I can't sleep for those hours, man. I wake up at 9 o'clock no matter what the hell I do.
I have no idea what a cinema smells like at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It doesn't smell like piss and popcorn, that's for sure.
I bet it does.
Aye, mine. At least I know whose brand it is. Right, so Zane, do you have a rant on that? Are you done? You happy?
Nah, no, they're getting the popcorn out in chat, but sorry, folks, that was pretty much it. I just... It's a rather short but sweet one this week.
Nice. All right, guys, so shall we wrap it there?
Go for it.
I think I will. All right. I think I'm going to. You just have to ride along with me. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining us, especially the guys in the chat room. It's been lovely hanging out with you guys. You can catch me on @RatWorksVisuals on Twitter. You can find some of my Ratworks shenanigans, my t-shirts and all the designy crap that I make over on ratworks.net, and you can also get YouTube intros that somebody was asking about earlier on ratworks.net. I do some of that stuff. I did Zane's one, which is lovely. Working on his outro at the moment, which is lovely. But yeah, that's me, and you can also catch me and the very bold Mr. D as part of Stereo Vandals. We make a bunch of electro music. We've got a new single coming out very shortly. We'll get on that very soon, and we'll tell you more about it as it happens. And a new album in the works as well. So, Mr. D, do you have anything else you want to add on your own reachability?
Yeah, our album is taking almost as long as Chinese democracy at the moment.
The Guns N' Roses album or the actual Chinese democracy?
No, actual Chinese democracy.
I've also got t-shirts over there as well.
You do as well. There's some Fat Lazy Frog branded t-shirts, which are the D's own kind of intro to t-shirt designs. So go and check those out. They're slightly cheeky, slightly clever, slightly awesome. So go check them out. And that's pretty much the way you can get a hold of us. You can also get our music at Stereo Vandals on Twitter and www.stereovandals.co.uk. We can find all of our remixes, electro nonsense, and shenanigans of that type. Over to you, Zane.
Awesome. I probably shouldn't make it so clear by pointing it out, like live and everything, and just making a big deal about it, but I didn't actually notice you calling me Marty. If you want to get a hold of me, you can find me in one place and one place only, which is youtube.com/Zane Gaming TV. That is XAINE Gaming TV.
Nice.
The other place you can get me, apart from the only place that you can get me, would be Twitter. I really need to find a better way of doing that. Twitter.com/Zane Gaming. Get a hold of me there, tell me how shite my channel is.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's about it, really. I don't really have much more to say on that. Next time, I will have a proper rant, guys. I will have something lined up. In fact, I will say this right now. Have you ever just looked at someone and thought, never met them before, just first time you've came across them, and somewhere in the back of your head, you've just heard the word prick?
Who's this aimed at? Because I'm feeling pretty left out in the cold here.
No, it's just a question to concentrate on. Like, you never met the person in your life, you just introduced to them for the very first time, and the first thought that comes into your head is prick.
Yes, I have, but do you want to leave this open-ended? Is that
Cool.
the thing?
Multiple instances.
Cool, absolutely. I'll tell you that story next podcast. Anyway.
Okay, guys, so if you want to catch us next week, you can get our previous episodes on www.tenuously.com. There's a whole bunch of them to play from the website. You can also go and look us up as a subscriber, get your podcast app on your phone, do a wee search for Tenuous at Best, and you can find all of our previous episodes there, and you can subscribe, and we'll send you new magic every 2 weeks. The weeks in between, you will find us gaming on this here time slot. Zane, anything to add to that? Because I think I kind of tried to tie that up as nicely as I could.
Sounds pretty good, but yeah, we don't do professional intro. outros, words. Yes.
Sorry, that's at.
Well, else I can think of. If you want to get in touch with us and tell us how shite the actual podcast is, you can also do that on twitter.com 10@best. And I liked it so much last time we did it, I suggest we go out on an awkward silence. Take care, folks.